Cool. It's showing it's live. A few seconds in. Let's open this up. And is that. Fair few comments to get through in this one. I'll look to potentially try to refrain from calling Hammerhead27 something else, just based on one of the last comments. So there's a bunch of his that I've got to read through, which I will go through. I actually did do a response video to some of his comments today. There was only 3 on there that I saw today. Smacked out a part 2 response video in response to that, to his comments. I see a couple of the followers of the channel also chimed in there and responded to some of his comments on there. But I haven't, even though I've completed it, I haven't posted it yet. Just because, and I'll try to explain why when I get down to his last 2 messages, actually. What are we? We're still early, I think. Still got time. Couple of minutes. And, I can see Steve Jefferson, 2487. Yep, morning to you. Evening from my end to you, but morning to you. Jason C, yep, you're one of the you're one of the guys that Hammerhead decided to respond to. Thumbs up. Hammerhead. Hey, g'day, King. He's on. All right. Vanilla Butcher 5857. Evening to you. G'day, Hammerhead. Yep. So I'm going to continue with that. Thank you for stopping by, Hammerhead, and for commenting, and for the last 2 comments. Anyway, so I will read through the other ones that are in there. There is a question in here that's come through first, a message which I'll go through. I'll do that first, and then I'll come to Hammerheads. Actually, maybe if I start with, what's our time? Still 2 minutes, 7:28. Oh, maybe I'll go to that now. The last couple of messages from Hammerhead, and then that might give some context as to why I'm refraining from using the other names and or the other words that I used in some of the comments too. But appreciate you being here, Hammerhead. Yeah, so I know that you two had an interaction, had some comments and stuff in there. I think I've got that comment actually. But anyway, reason being, so in here, Hammerhead27 sent through to me, please do a reaction to this article. It's called the Libel, is that how you say it? Libel? Libel case, confirming Australian war crimes in Afghanistan by Douglas Guilfoyle and June 16, 2023. Apologies, Douglas G will call you. Just save me butchering your surname. Or at least read it, and then you will understand what I mean. It will take you 5 minutes. RS is lucky to have a mate like you, but it doesn't change the truth. It is what it is. So that was one of the second to last messages that I saw. You can use it. I can take a joke. Cheers, Hammerhead. What do we got here? So that was the second to last message that at least I can see anyway in the trails. And then I did reply. I haven't pasted my reply that I put in here, but people will be able to see it in the part 2 comments section. My reply to him. And basically I was like, I was surprised. I was taken back by that comment from Hammerhead. I was like, that's probably the nicest comment I've received from him. So in here, he did put a reply. I can't remember what else I put in my comment to him. He's got here to me, it's not a trick. The nicest I've been, ? I made a comment using the same language you did. I called him a coward for what he did. I assume he's talking about RS. It is cowardly, full stop. And I know I've spoken at least in, I don't know how many videos. If that sort of stuff is proven to have what's taken place, like the allegations at the moment, 100%. I agree, and I know that I've said in other videos that is disgraceful, it's horrendous, it's cowardly, all of the above. So anyway, you called the other blokes cowards. Yes, I did, and I still do. Based on, and there's a few reasons for that, which I'll happy to delve into, and some of them might come up with some of the other questions that I've received in the message that I received. So I won't delve into it right here. You called the other blokes coward? Yes, cowards. Yes, I have. The dudes that testified looked him in the eye, and some were still serving, meaning they had been in the unit longer than most, including him. Possibly, I don't know who those other witnesses were. I've heard of one sergeant who was definitely in longer than RS. You were there. Does the regiment keep useless people in that long? Hey, that's a great question. What I would say is clearly there must have been some stuff happening there whereby guys that breached the rules and went and spoke with the media had nothing happen. They didn't even have their security clearances lowered down or removed, because if they had, you wouldn't be able to continue serving there. So there's obviously a whole bunch of twists and turns and stuff that's been happening there that I'm not aware of. And I don't know if we'll ever find out what has been happening there in that space. But if you breach and go to the media without going through that whole hierarchy chain of command process, which is there, I think for any organization, and no repercussions happen, I don't know. Maybe there's more to this uh, than possibly than just a few useless fellas that got the ass from 2 Squadron. Anyway, you've got here, you did 2 videos calling me out, and I responded in kind. He did it, and because he sued them, he put a spotlight on himself and the other blokes. The civil, he did it, and because he sued them, he put a spotlight on himself and the other blokes. The civil trial put even more information into the public sphere and led to him and others being charged criminally. I'm not sure what you mean. Led to him and others being charged criminally. There's 2 people that I am aware of that have been charged. You've got led to him and others, like plural. I'm not sure if there's somebody else that I'm not aware of. Oliver Schultz was the first one, I think, in 2023, and then RS being this year. So anyway, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there somebody else? Are there other people that have been charged criminally? He shouldn't have sued. That's your take. He shouldn't have sued. Yes, he had a right to defend himself, which he did, but he lost, and the judgment was affirmed on appeal. That's on him. Yep, he lost it. Like uh, I already know all of that. I think everybody else already understands and acknowledges that. Hammerhead, we know that RS raised the defamation case. We know that he lost. We know that, and I didn't know at the time, but I've learned from POE RAVA, who may or may not be on this live, that they appealed it 3 times. It was rejected, and and they tried again to go to the Supreme Court, I think, or whatever the highest one is, and it got rejected there too. So essentially, 4 times, RS tried to appeal from what I understand, the defamation case, and it was denied. So, yep, we know that. If he doesn't take a deal, he will do all day. If he doesn't take a deal, he will do all day. I'm not sure what you mean. He will do. Do you mean if he doesn't take a deal? No, I don't know what you mean. He will do all day. Do you mean he will do life? Not sure. The prosecution will forensically dissect the civil trial, and some of the blokes who are also facing charges will flip. That's how it works. So I don't know. Either you're in the know and you're part of the OSI, or you're part of the unit, or you're part of a family member that has connection to this case, or what. I don't know. I find it interesting. Surely, I don't know if Hammerhead, are you just a random civvy that has been watching the trial, or have you got some sort of connection to somebody, or are you one of the witnesses? Like a genuine question. I obviously I'm not going to know, but I'd be interested. Where are we here? Appealed it to full court of the federal court. Judgment was affirmed, and the High Court refused to hear it. All day life without parole is what I mean. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. What about the other part? Are you are you just a straight up civvy who's just really invested and really passionate about this case. Like I've not, maybe it's just because my channel's so small or whatever, but I've not come across anybody that is so passionate about this case like you are from uh, from a what I'm assuming a non-military, non-defense force serving member perspective. I could be way off the mark there, but maybe there are a whole bunch of you out there that are like this. But it seems real strange to me. And I think I mentioned, I can't remember the exact words in the video that I already did, but I haven't posted it yet in response to you. Like, are you a witness or are you a family member of one of the people that I've been calling a coward? Are you, yeah, I don't, it's strange to me. If you're still there, I'd love to hear. I'd love to see your response. Who are you, Hammerhead? The world needs to, the world needs to know. I mean, it's cool if the person doesn't want to obviously share their face and name. That's all good. But where are we? Hammerhead, don't be a hammerhead, Buckaroony. Hey, g'day, Buck. Is there a rumor? Let's not. I didn't invite him on here to get hammered, but I understand he probably has come on here expecting that there might be some people that may want to give him stick. I'm not looking to give you stick, Hammerhead. I'm actually genuinely interested. Are you part of this case? Like, I'd love to know. Feel free to answer that. Haven't got into your article yet because I want to make sure that you're still here. So I'll react to the article link that you've sent me. Like, I got no problem with it. So I have received it, but I'll do that as long as you're still here. What's this? JJ Beach Burn, laughing faces. Yeah, crack up. Hang on. Sorry, I've missed some people's comments, I think. JCK Libel. Libel, Lye, Libel. Okay, thank you for that. Let me grab the popcorn. CJ, let me grab the Vaseline. Good evening, legend. Sporty guy, 1989. G'day, Joe. Hope you're well. Yeah, all's well here. Is there a rumor Mark Wales is one of the. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Reason that I say that I don't think he is because, oh, maybe one of the numbers. Actually, it could be, but reason why I'm inclined to think that maybe not with RS is because he has, oh, mind you, I suppose he's only spoken about it in roundabout sort of terms when he has been interviewed by other people in some of the podcasts that he's done. He hasn't specifically, not that I'm aware of anyway, he hasn't directly spoken to specific questions in relation to war crimes, witnessing anything or anything like that. Not that I'm aware of anyway. I haven't heard Walesy speak about witnessing anything or hearing about anything specific to the case. So maybe from that perspective, maybe because he hasn't really delved into it specifically, maybe he might be one of the numbers. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't in the trial. What is it? That's how it works. Sorry, I got the last part. I don't think that they will allow a jury, so this is still from Hammerhead, jury to sit because of the information that could come out to protect TTPs and other secret information. Well, I would have thought, I think from what Scott Jones has spoken about with the defamation trial, I think with the little peanut gallery that they had watching the defamation case play out, I think there were parts where it was just a closed court, where they just closed it off to protect the sensitive nature of certain aspects in regards to operations, etc., etc. So I don't know. I don't see why the jury, why that couldn't just happen in the case of a jury. If there's super sensitive stuff which the jury is not cleared for and they're unable to go through any sort of specific process to ensure that, I can't see why they wouldn't just section that piece off, those pieces off, and the jury can't, they're just not a part of that. That's my simple take on it anyway. With it not going to a jury trial, I'd be surprised. Again, not that I'm any sort of legal Blinken Einstein, but from everything that I've heard, it sounds like it's going to a jury, or that they'll be looking to put together a jury for this trial. So time will tell, I guess. If it's a bench trial, meaning a judge only, based on the information publicly available, he is effed. He is effed. I would agree with that, Hammerhead. Just based on the fact that it was, what is it? I call him Combe over Bazenko. Uh, that was a single judge based balance of probabilities, whatever it's called, um, civil case, defamation case, which RS brought and lost, brought against the media organizations, and he lost that. So I would agree with that if it's one person, a judge making the call. Yeah, I'd say RS was stuffed too. That's just my opinion, but I could be wrong. But we will soon find out. Well, I hope so. I hope we soon find out. I mean, I don't know how long criminal trial cases usually take, but seems like it's going to take some time to even get to the start line. As far as I know, um, Oliver Schultz hasn't even had a trial yet. So when was he arrested or charged? I should say. Well, I suppose arrested and charged. 2023, I think. And we're in 2026 now. I don't know if and when he's going to be having his trial or if he's already had a trial. But yeah, obviously it's taking a while. Oh, hang on. Who messages? Just a civvy. I just thought when you called them cowards, you should have called RS a coward for killing PUCs, have a law degree, and understand the law and legal process. Oh, look at you. There you go. You got a law degree too. Thanks for clarifying that. So you say you're just a civvy. Um, Well, yeah, I suppose with regards to those, what have you got here? I just thought when you called them cowards, you should have called RS a coward too. Wouldn't matter who it was, if it was RS or Dono or anybody. Not that it was Dono, like just using that as an example. Anybody who does anything like that is a trucking coward. But coming back to the points around these witnesses, why the truck didn't they do anything there and then? Why wait till years down the track like that? That stuff still baffles me personally. So we'll get to things. It's good to know that you're still on here, Hammerhead. Thank you. Hammerhead is Nick McKenzie. My thoughts to be that confident, you had to be involved, especially considering reasonable doubt. Yeah, that's why I was asking Hammerhead. Like, are you part of this? So legal background too. So where are you? Where is it? Should we have a law degree? You have a law degree and understand the law and legal process. So that's cool. One of your comments, I can't remember where it is now. I wish I had screenshotted that one as well. It might have been that long-winded one that you copied and pasted several times. Maybe it was a different one. But you called out 3 Squadron as being disbanded. It wasn't 3 Squadron, bro. It was 2 Squadron. So again, the details, law degree, understanding of legal process. The lawyers I know are pretty detailed and specific, and they get things more or less, they take the time to get things accurate. So I know one of the guys that watched the trial and even corrected you on some of the people that you were calling and naming was all over the shop, bro. Like, I haven't even been watching or following, I hadn't even watched that defamation trial when it was going. All of my stuff has been reactions well after the fact. And even I could pick out the stuff that you were talking about. You didn't seem to have the right person. So I'm going to take you at your word, Hammerhead, that you have a law degree and understand the law and legal process. I'll take you at your word. Some of the other things that seem a little bit off to me is your assertion that RS is guilty and that he is a war criminal when there is no criminal conviction, as far as I'm aware, anywhere that says Ben Robert Smith guilty of war crimes, Ben Robert Smith murderer, Ben Robert Smith charged, convicted with domestic violence, and or Ben Robert Smith charged, convicted with beating a woman. I haven't seen any of that. So again, just got to take you at your word, eh? Because you've at least showing up to the live and you're here interacting and putting in the comments. I don't know that. I mean, you say you got a law degree and understanding of the legal process, but the details seem a bit off. Christian Hammerhead, there's no way in hell you have a law degree. If you did, you'd know the civil trial and the evidence used in that trial cannot be referenced in the criminal trial at all. Hammerhead has replied, I know that, mate, but the prosecution will call the same witnesses. Their testimony is what matters. Read the judgment and read it for yourself. It's 617 pages and very detailed. Okay. I watched the entire trial from start to finish, every single session that wasn't closed court. I've listened to the transcript of the judgment given in court too, so I'm up on it. I didn't watch any of it. In fact, I'm far too stupid to follow any trial, even if it was me. Yeah, 2 squadron, still a whole squadron. Yeah, but I mean, your details are all over the shop, Hammerhead. Like, yeah, it's a number. I get it at the end of the day. 2, 3, 6, 7. But it's it's an important detail. And I would imagine for a lawyer, details matter. Like, details are important, especially if you are going to be so, I guess, um, overt in your accusations in regards to Ben Robert Smith, or your assertions, I should say, in regards to Ben Robert Smith, that he's these things which you've said. You know what I mean? So, anyway, let's carry on. Hearsay is allowed in a civil case, not in a criminal trial. Many of the witnesses are useless, all hearsay. And I have heard that. And again, I'm taking that based on Scott Jones's um, comments on the Two Worlds Collide podcast. So, you know, again, I don't have a full picture. Cheers, Buckaroony. Sporty Guy, everything is getting disbanded. NZSAS is getting so small. CJ Hammerhead for Prime Minister. Not bragging, just have one. Yeah, okay. I didn't take it as you bragging. I just thought it was strange that that your details and stuff seem a bit off. I never said there was a criminal trial. Read the article. We'll get to that as long as you're still here. I've got some other stuff which I'll go through. I've just read your 2 most recent comments. I think they're most recent. That's how I've seen them anyway, your most recent comments. As far as I know, the regiment now has 1, 3, and 4 squadrons, as well as base squadron, op support squadron, 1526 squadron. That sounds about right, Mr. Buckaroony. Jason C. Yep, cowards, just like watching a chick getting the SHIT beaten out of her, not stepping in, walking away, because you were scared of then calling the cops 2 days later. Good points, Jason C. I mean, yeah, good comments. Anyway, this is a good little warm up. I'm glad I jumped on a little bit earlier and that I started a little bit early. Holy heck, it's like 18 minutes gone already. Well, more than that. Feel free to jump in. I'm going to try to come to the comments and stuff as well as I come back up to this stuff. And there is an article at the end of this, which Hammerhead has asked me to go through and have a read. I'll come back to his other comments. So those were the last 2. I've got to get to this other one first. So this was the first one that came in before any of these comments from Hammerhead came through. I'd actually received this message. And it says here, hey, Joe, not sure if you've heard, but it sounds like Kyle Stefanovic is going to be interviewing BRS. I have seen those little reels or whatever they're called pop up. I've seen them on YouTube. I've seen them pop up on my Instagram, etc. I think that's awesome. If he does, if he is, I don't know. Would you consider interviewing BRS for your channel? Question mark. I assume, so there's a bit of stuff to this, so let me just read through it and then I'll try and go through it. I assume you would. So the short answer to that is, yeah, I'd love to. Obviously, I assume you would. I assume you would, based on what I've seen of your channel. But would you delve into the allegations of war crimes with someone who you have said is a mate, or would that topic be out of bounds? I think I can answer that one off the fly as we're going here. Uh, I would love to delve into those. For me, it's not up to me if I'm interviewing somebody in terms of what's out of bounds or not. I'd like to think that if I had the privilege to interview RS, that he'd give me the green light to delve into whatever I wanted to and ask him whatever I wanted to. That's what I'd like to think. But again, um, if somebody's looking to have guests on, this is just my take. I assume the host allows the guest to set, I suppose I want to say, the boundaries or the parameters for where they can go into or for what they maybe ask or don't ask. But I'd love to. I think for me, even more so, the fact that I do consider him a mate is why I would be wanting to ask those questions even more. Like, That's me personally. Anyway, would that topic be out of bounds? Question mark. Not by me, it wouldn't be out of bounds. But if it was up to the guest, if that's what they said no, well then it would be out of bounds. How do you think you would view your friendship with BRS if he is found guilty? Holy hecka! You got the people got the heavy questions coming through. How do you think you would view your friendship with BRS if he is found guilty? Short answer for that, without taking too long, because there's some other stuff I've got to go through in here. I don't know because it hasn't happened. Hey, like I could sit here and speculate and think what ifs, or what if this happens and what if that happens? Equally, I could say, well, how would I could reframe your question? You've got, how do you think you would view your friendship with BRS if he is found guilty? Or how would I view my friendship with RS if he's found not guilty? Like, even then, I still can't. For me, I don't know that there's much of a change, if any. I'd feel a massive amount of relief, I suppose. Maybe it's a bit easier for me to answer that one instead of this one here. How do you think you would view your friendship with BRS if he is found guilty? I don't know if it impacts my friendship. I don't know that it changes anything for me personally from the perspective of the man that I knew during those times. Would I be gutted? Would I be, upset? Would I be thinking probably some other, um, uh, what's the word, Blinken, devastated thoughts? Yeah, 100%, more than likely. I don't know what those would be right now, though. But anyway, l- let me think about that, and I'll come back to it. Can show you, like, usually when I get the messages, I'll copy and paste them into this whole list of things so that I can just run through it. But I don't typically give it a lot of thought because I just think it's better if I respond to them or react to them as I can't really say fresh, even though this did just come through today. Yeah, I suppose as fresh as I can, even though that's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. Do you think you would regret all the comments or videos you've made in regards to this case? Hey, are you are you mates with Hammerhead, this person? Do you think you would regret all the comments or videos you've made in regards to this case? Um, Again, I don't know. It hasn't happened yet. I guess time will tell, right? Um, because I'm going to do a video at the end of this trial, whenever that end happens, regardless of the outcome. Like I've said that for I don't know how long, and that's what I'm going to do. Um, so I guess at that stage, then I can maybe just do a live. Probably be better and easier, I guess, to do a live because then there may be a whole bunch of people that might want to jump into the comments and start hammering away and go, yeah, what about this or blah 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 if he's found guilty, So I probably will do a live and I probably will do a pre-recorded video. Yeah, so we'll just see how that all turns out. Do you think you would regret all the comments or videos you've made in regards to this case? I don't know that I would. Um, Again, time will tell. There's a number of things that come to mind right now as I think of that, as I read that comment, like comments or videos you've made. Let's put it this way: if RS was found guilty, I don't see myself regretting the comments about the cowards who have got immunity. Who, if out of the 5 counts of war crime murder which RS has been charged with, 3 or 4 have got immunity. 3 apparently, allegedly, have been committed by 3 other separate people and nothing happens to them, I don't know that I would. What did you say? I don't. I could sit here right now and say I don't think I would regret any of my comments of calling them cowards. I think that's piss weak. Like if you want to see justice done and you are carrying this burden that you just can't live with anymore, and you've got to get it off your shoulders. Okay, cool. It's been a few years. You're bringing it up now. Okay, but you don't want to take responsibility for your part. Like that doesn't make sense. And then the other operators that are there as part of this, because it's not a two-man team, they didn't go out in sniper pairs. They're not a two-man team. There's 4, 5, or 6 people, maybe a few others, depending on the task or the jobs that they were on. What what role then do those others play in that and there needs to be, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like, um, it doesn't sound like justice. It sounds like, oh, that's one of the words. We'll get to that. One of the words that Hammerhead used. It sounds like somebody being the fall guy or the patsy. I think he said patsy hasty in one of his comments. We'll get to that anyway. But if these people are legitimately wanting justice done, they feel bad about what they've done. Credit to them if that's what they're feeling and they want to bring it up now and they're prepared to suffer the consequences for this is what I did. I need to own my shit. Didn't have the courage to speak up or whatever at that time. But this is the facts. This is what happened, and I I followed an unlawful command because I didn't have the courage to refuse it at the time or whatever. And then the judgment, and I'm prepared to face whatever consequences. That to me says a completely presents a completely different picture in terms of accountability, ownership, the integrity of those that are wanting to, dare I say, come clean if these allegations are true. That's my take. I think I've said words to that effect on other videos before, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I haven't, but I feel like I have. Where are we? I don't know what to believe this person. So hang on. Do you think you would regret all the comments or videos you've made in regards to this case? I don't know what to believe. I'm just waiting for the final verdict. Well, maybe you're not like maybe you're not maybe you're not like Hammerhead. I'm just waiting for the final verdict. I'll be honest. I feel like I'm just waiting for the final verdict too. The only reason these things even come up is because people send stuff to me to have a look at or react to, or whether it's a video or it's an article or it's comments comments in the video section, which is, as I said, is great for content. So for my little channel, so I'll jump on those things and use them as and when. Plus, apparently, it's good for the algorithm. Um, I'm just waiting for the final verdict. I'm with you, bro. I'm just waiting for the final verdict too. As a proud Australian, I see these allegations. Oh, as a proud Australian, I hope these allegations aren't true. I'm with you on that as well, this person. But I also feel that if the allegations are true, then it sounds to me like there are more people who should be held accountable for the war crimes of murder than just one person. I mean, that's part of what I was trying to talk about before, um, when I said the the four that have been given immunity. Apparently, three of those out of the five, which Aris has been charged with, three committed the act, like carried out the action, if the allegations are true, that is. And then what about the other operators that were there, that saw, that did nothing, that chose to look away? The guy, was it an article I read? Guy that said RS asked him for a suppressor and he thought it was an odd request. He gave it and then he started to have thoughts about, oh, I think I know what's about to happen here. And then he just turned and looked the other way or something. And then a patrol commander came around and asked him, said, "Did you see what happened with those two detainees?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know." Like, again, like, there seems to be, like, what this person has put down here, what then it sounds to me like there are more people who should be held accountable for the war crimes of murder than just one person. In this case, BRS, full stop, they've got. So again, to Hammerhead's comment, well, which we haven't gotten to yet, but in the comments, he's used the term patsy. Hasty the patsy for, I think it was a comment that I put down or reply, or maybe as part of my reaction. The the bloody ordnance that he ordered or called in, and the aircraft either got the target wrong because of the coordinates, there's a misinterpretation of the coordinates, or the coordinates were right. Those young boys were targeted and the aircraft did hit the right target based on the order and the coordinates that they were given. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't seen the logs of that. I don't know what the grid references were that were being called into the helos to strike those areas. But to Hammerhead's comment about hasty patsy, forget about the pilots who got the coordinates wrong. Again, that makes the assumption that Wank Drew Wasty got the coordinates spot on, and it was the helo pilot's fault for getting them completely wrong. Like, is that, how do we ever find out if that's the case? I would love to know. Like, believe me, I would love to know. Is that the case? Are there logs of that? There probably isn't. There probably isn't recordings of the radio communications. Be great if there was, eh? Because then that could potentially help clarify the descriptions leading up to the coordinates that were then read out, or the grid references being read back to the person giving the instruction on the ground, and then the execution of, and then matching that up with, okay, here's the grid references that we read out. Yep, a read back correct. Is that the grid reference in relation to the maps that were being used at the time? Did it land and splash in the right spot? Yes, it did. Or no, it didn't. Completely wrong area. That's where it should have gone. That's where it ended up. We stuffed that up or whatever. Like, there's lots of questions from my perspective anyway, trying to make sense of that. Where are we? Uh, in this case, BRS. Anyway, mate, not sure what you'll think of my message. Well, I think I shared. I was like, are you with Hammerhead? Not trying to bait you into anything here. Would like to get your take when you have time. Uh, I've heard you say you'll be doing a reaction or posting a video, post the findings of BRS trial, regardless of the outcome. Yes, I will. I hope you follow through with that. Cheers for your time and for your service to both our countries. Cheers, mate. I won't read out your name at the end. Yeah. I mean, I did copy and paste this. I think I had a quick read. Obviously, I forget about it as the day goes on. Get to spend a little bit more time and try to dial into the actual messages that come through. Say, you weren't trying to bait me. Okay, cool. Wanted to get my take. And yeah, like I said, I mean, there's enough videos of me, I think, of me saying that I'll be doing a video regardless of the outcome, guilty or not guilty. So would I consider interviewing him? Yes. Delving into allegations? Yes. The other part of that is if he was able to. So I don't know. Say he's found not guilty, which I hope. I hope that's the case. Say he's found not guilty. Maybe there's still going to be some sort of timeline suppression thing whereby things can't be spoken about. I don't know. But I'd love to delve into that if I ever had the opportunity to sit down and chat with him. Even if I didn't interview him for the channel, like if that was something that he said, oh, I don't want to be interviewed on the channel, bro, but we can catch up, I would gladly do that. And then I'd probably ask him, bro, are you all right if I not record this, but if I just give my take after having a chat with you and talk about what it is that I spoke with you about, the responses that you give, blah, 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 and then see what he says. He might still say no. Who knows? But anyway, if there are says where boundaries, those would, yeah. So those in regards to boundaries, there was just a note for me. How would I view my friendship with BRS? Oh yeah, I don't know. Like I'd need to go through that. I can't sitting here right now. I can't imagine much changing for me, like in terms of my friendship or me considering her as a friend, if that makes sense. Like that's my mate. Like how many family members and friends out there do you or do we have that have stuffed up and done stupid stuff? Don't get me wrong. This is a major stuff up if these allegations are true and if he's found guilty. Like that's a whole nother level. I've never had a friend that's done anything like that before or been found guilty of that. So I can't sit here and say, oh, this is how I would feel, because that's trying to project myself into the future on a negative context based on the message here in this format that I've received it, and then trying to imagine what I'll be like in the future if he was found guilty. I guess people will see that if that happens when the time comes for me to do a video. That's probably really the only way I can describe it and or explain it. Would I regret all the comments of the videos? That makes me laugh. Uh, I, yeah, again, I can't think of any right now that come to mind where I go, oh, geez, I don't know if I think I'll regret that in however long down the track after this trial takes place. Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe there'll be people like Hammerhead or others that might come on, or this person maybe, and copy and paste or play videos of my different reactions to things, maybe like it's all there available for people to do that if that's what they want to do. So, yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, now let's get into where are we? Sorry, I think there was too. Here were some questions or comments that came through. Here are we? Where are we? Bloody hell. Buckaroony, as far as I know. I read that one. Cards. Buckaroony, hey Joe, have you seen the Ghosts of Timor on the ABC? The Kiwi SAS apparently were not happy with things that happened at the ambush down at Suai when Ron and Hoggy got shot. Worth a watch. I haven't seen that. Ghosts of Timor on the ABC. No, I haven't seen that, Buck. But thanks for the heads up. Ghosts of Timor. I'll just screenshot that. Copy, and then I'll just paste it into here. Paste. Cool. I'll have a look. I'll have a look at that later. DMC, salute to you. Sporting guy, BRS is not guilty. End of. No one ever did this after World War I, World War II. The Allies would have done some horrendous things to the Germans and vice versa. How do journalists get away with stuff like this? Appreciate your time and comments, sporty guy. Buck, if he was found guilty, I would shake his hand and say, well done, mate. There you go. I would probably do the same. Like, just who knows what I'd do. Like, I like the comments so far. Cheers, Buck. Hammerhead, laughing faces, sporty guy. How does the journalist not go to jail for what he did with the Russell Heston case? Why isn't there a trial on them? Yeah, it's pretty crazy, eh? I mean, I know there was a payout. There was a payout that the media, and it wouldn't have come out of Dick McKenzie's pocket. No way. It was, what was it? Less than $500,000. Like that, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. I'm not trying to make out that that's a small amount of money. But for the damage that it does to the reputation of those men, the stress that it puts them under, and their families, their friends that look at them with a raised eyebrow and be thinking, because they're so engrossed by the mainstream media or the influence that they have. I don't know how you land on that sort of number, the editing, the doctoring of footage, or that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, they've come up with a number, and he's received the payout, which I'm glad that he has. Heston, that is. Why they don't go to jail, I don't know. Maybe Hammerhead knows. He's got a legal degree. How does that work? Genuine question. How do journalists? How is there no criminal charges or anything there for the doctoring of video footage, for the false allegations? Maybe that's, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Hammerhead can give an answer. When Pauline becomes PM, it won't go to trial. That'd be great. Like, come on, Australia, vote One Nation in. Sporty guy, because it was the ABC, mate, elbows cronies. Oh, yeah, there you go. Corrupt as, airing BS constantly. I meant Pasty, Hasty, because that's what you call him. Pasty? I mean pasty, or did I get it wrong? Did you say Patsy or pasty? Bloody hell, where am I now? No, not that one. Pasty. No, you've got Pasty. It's just my reading. Pasty, because that's what'd you say? Because that's what I call him. I don't know if I've called him pasty. I've called him Wankstain and Wank Drew, wasty, in terms of being a waste of bloody oxygen. Anyway, Buckaroo, I can't wait to see Hasty lose his seat of Canning in the next election. Him going against BRS was political suicide. I would have thought so, but be interesting to see what's going on in that space and or what happens in that space. Whether it's RS, be great if it is. I don't know how that works out. I don't know if it is going to be RS, but I think it's great if it is. Dan, hey brother, just tuned in. Oh, appreciate you, Dan. Cheers for stopping by, Mr. Bucket. Straight up crap can stuff up a man's life. Yet they can fiddle with evidence and not get any consequences. Yeah, seems pretty interesting. Pasty Hasty, you call him that, not me. Pasty. I don't recall ever calling him pasty. Can you show me or share with me the video where I call him pasty hasty? That just doesn't even sound like words that I've said until having a read of your comments. And even then, I read your comments wrong, which I'll read through later on here. I thought you were saying patsy, and I got that wrong. So yeah, I just can't think of a time until this evening where I've called Wangstain Wasty pasty hasty. But maybe. Sporty guy, if they call BRS a war crime or war criminal, then every prime minister has to go to jail for starting wars. Yeah, it's interesting, eh? Not Patsy, pasty. Yeah, yeah. I finally, I'm trying to catch up. I'm still 5 new messages behind by the looks of things, maybe more. Cheers, Hammerhead. Um, so yeah, again, you'll have to send me the clip where I'm calling Wangstain Wasty pasty hasty. Yeah, I don't think there is footage of me until tonight in this live. Buckering BRS trial, if it goes ahead, will be 3 years minimum. The Ghosts of Timor Four Corners 2-part series. It's on YouTube. Okay, cool. I'll have a look for that. My soap. Look at your books behind you. Did you ever read Jamie Pinnell's book? Happy to send you mine if you haven't. I haven't read Jamie Pinnell's book. I haven't got it yet. Don't worry about sending me yours. I am going to get his. I'm going to get Andy White's. I'm going to get, what's his name? Rob Mailer from the Aussie Regiment. I think he was Royal Marine as well, Royal Marine Commando before then. He was on the same selection and cycle as RS. So I know Rob. He's a good guy, good dude. He's one of the guys I plan on doing a walk and talk with once he settles back here in NZ. He's just done an interview recently on the old Paratrooper podcast, I think it is. So check that out. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, and so he's got a book out too. There's a few other books too from other people that I need to get. But yeah, I've read bits and pieces of all of those books, my soap. I haven't finished any one of them yet. Buckaroony, that Mark Willesee, journalist from the ABC, should be in prison for perverting the course of justice for doctoring that footage. Yeah, pretty crazy, eh? How that stuff, like nothing. It's just swept under the carpet. Nothing more is ever said about it. Nothing is discussed. Nothing is raised or brought up. Same with the $700,000 hush money. Like, who did that get paid to? and who authorized it? Who approved it? I think Peter Costello's name was thrown around at some stage for being on the chair, being the chair for the board, I think, at the time, and potentially should have come from that level, or that level should have likely known about it, or would have likely known about it. I don't know. Lots of stuff there, eh? Bad spelling. How many people? Oh, what's this? How many people in chat have had people shooting at with hate and intent to kill you? Bad spelling. Yeah, I know what you mean. I typed in anger, no truck in respect. Sporty guy, when are you doing a book? Who, me? Got no plans on doing a book. Sporty guy 1989. Anyway, let's get back to Hammerhead's comments now. The ones that the initial 3 that I've done a video to in response to. Can't remember all the words that I shared, but I have done it. But I just haven't posted it because of, like I said, the last 2 comments that at least I received. I don't know if he's put any other comments since then. He's obviously here in the live. Let's do a radio check. Hammerhead, are you still here? This is the deal that I made with him. I said, hey, because he sent me the like I read out that second to last, and he said to please, what did he say? Can you please do a reaction to this article? It's called. And I said, I'll do it as long as you attend the live. And he's held up his end of the bargain so far. So I'm just doing a radio check, checking if he's still here. I'll carry on reading some of these comments anyway, because I'll need to do a check later on. So Ed Hammerhead said, oh, bro, it's AI. How do you know it's really 60 minutes? Were you there when they filmed it? Laughing faces, not guilty in capitals, bloody cowards, laughing face. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure. I think that's in relation to the part 2 of my reaction to the Secrets of War, 60 Minutes Part 2 documentary that's out there. And that was the first comment that I came across and saw. Hammerhead27 is still here. Okay, yep, he's got Sporty Guy. Yeah, man, your story is interesting. There you go. But you okay, cool. Hey, cheers for that, Sporty Guy. Hammerhead, thank you for responding. Yep, he's still here. So, yeah, that's your first comment. The second one, I live rent-free in your wee brain. go to the FADANUI. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, bro. Wharanui, and kiss your boyfriend on his lahu. Hammerhead. So such mean words. Don't drink, bro. It just makes you sound even dumber. Hey, actually, that's a point, hey. I forgot to mention, I should have shouted out the bro, Joe Harawira and Waimanuka. Head on over, www.waimanuka.co.nz, New Zealand's premium, non-alcoholic, sparkling beverage, honey and lemon. There you go. No artificial colours or flavours. Not sponsored by them, by the way, but proud to and happy and grateful to support them. Anyway, where are we? Don't drink, bro. It just makes you sound even dumber. Hey, I called you dummy. You can't just be grabbing and using the words that I call you and then throw them back at me. I told you it's not 60 minutes, bro. It's AI. Yeah, that's confusing. For the 10th time, there hasn't even been a criminal trial. It was a civil trial in the Federal Court of Australia that was upheld on appeal by the full court of the Federal Court of Australia, you dummy. Which RS lost. What's so hard to understand? It sounds to me like you're just regurgitating some of the stuff that people were correcting you on in the earlier video. And there you go. You stole my line, dummy, again, when I just replied. And what did I put? I think I put laughing faces and put, hey, dum-dum's back. But here you are, throwing it back in my face. Keep making these videos, because when he is found guilty in capitals, so here's a part that is confusing to me. You've got when he is found guilty in capitals, but in a whole bunch of your other comments, you say he's guilty in capitals. So I'm confused. Which one is it? Is he guilty or not guilty? In a criminal trial, you are going to look even dumber. You are hilarious. Crack up. This is Hammerhead. Keep them coming. I can't wait till hear, or to, I think is what you mean. I can't wait to hear what you say about it. I wonder what, and here we go. This is when I thought you were saying Patsy. Pasty Hasty will do. I wonder what Pasty Hasty will do if he ever sees these videos, question mark. I don't particularly care. One, you've got get your channel taken down, or two, sue you for defamation. Wouldn't that be ironic? You got a whole bunch of laughing faces. It's not like I'm trying to hide what I say about Blinken Wankstain Wasty. Even the title of one of the thumbnails that I've posted up there is titled Wankstain Wasty, with his picture on it. And then a whole bunch of other arrows and comments and stuff on there. So if he wants to, what did you say? Get my channel taken down, let him go for it. Like send him the links, Hammerhead. I really don't care. So if that's the worst thing that happens, the channel gets taken down, guess what? You just start again. It's not like he has the, what is it? He doesn't control the interwebs and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So if my channel got taken down for some reason, then I'll just start again. I think I've said that long before ever even reading this comment. So, or sue you for defamation. Well, sue me for defamation for calling him names. Is he going to sue me for defamation for calling him names? I don't know. You're a lawyer. You tell me. Can I sue people? Can he sue me for calling him names? Or for giving my opinion of him, calling him a coward or a wankstain? I don't know. Maybe that's the world that we're heading into these days under the Labor government in Australia. Who knows? Maybe it's just a matter of time before something like that happens here in NZ. But where and how have I defamed him because I called him mean names? You're the lawyer, Hammerhead. You let me know. Wouldn't that be ironic? Yeah, well, maybe. I'd be interested to see if it happens. Like, is there a legal premise for it? You're the lawyer, Hammerhead. Fill me in. Fill in the gaps for me. So share with me your legal prowess and intelligence and help me understand how, by me calling Wank Drew Wasty, here I go again, calling him names, it gets me done for defamation. So maybe I'm missing something, but I'm happy to read out your comments and or get an understanding of where you're coming from with your legal degree and your understanding of law and legal process. Because I've never heard of anybody getting done for defamation for calling somebody names. But, you should have more idea of it than me. What's this? Duh, duh, duh. Sporty guy, until next time. Likewise, that's me saying what you say I was being a smart AWS. Yeah, that's cool. Like, okay, all good. So was I. I might have more intent with some of mine directed towards some people. And maybe that was more intent directed towards you for that for a time. But I've been trying to refrain from that from this interaction because A, you're here on the live, and B, I will read your article when we get to it. Bear with me. Where are we? Cheers, mate. Until next time, Hammerhead, read the article. Guilty of the imputations made in the civil trial for defamation. I hate politicians. Now read the article, please. I'll read it when I'm ready, mate. I'll get through the rest of your comments first. Jason, go back to hemorrhoid. Much funnier. I got to push one back in every morning. Pain in the ass it is. Late to the party. G'day from Queensland. G'day, Billy. All good, bro. All good if you got here a little bit later. What's the name? Hammerhead is super keen for me to read the article. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. I just need to make sure give the full context and read the rest of your comments. Um, so yeah, there's enough of that. You've chosen instead to push me to read or ask me to read the article as opposed to answering my question on the defamation and YouTube. Whoop the truck and do. Like, send him the links to all the videos that I've done about him and or any reactions that I've done that include him in it, Hammerhead. Feel free. Send it to Wank Drew Hasty and call him a big wank stain from me. And say this is from Joe. What are we? Hammerhead. This is Hammerhead's reply to Jason9755. From Hammerhead to Jason. Nah, bro. I can just read a court judgment. Really? Really, though? Did you read the court judgment? Where in that court judgment does it say Ben Robert Smith is guilty of war crimes? Ben Robert Smith has been charged, convicted as a woman basher. Where in the judgment that you've read? Like, it's I'm assuming it's in the article that you've seen. So we'll have a look at that when we get to it. I'm assuming those words that you're saying is in the judgment. Obviously, you can't. I think there might be a bit of conflicting evidence there in terms of 2 Squadron versus 3 Squadron and versus this person and that person. And Christian Maver, who's not a lawyer, has had to correct you on a number of things whereby you are a lawyer. And I would assume details matter and attention to detail matters even more. But you seem to be a bit all over the shop with some of the stuff that you've put in the copy and paste that you've put on the comments, which is great that you put it there. It's great that you've copied and pasted it multiple times, the same thing. So I don't know. Debatable, Hammerhead. Probably wouldn't have even got charged if he hadn't sued for defamation, especially when he knew he had done what they alleged. Well, I think I've answered that in one of the other comments. Or probably in one of the other videos, maybe the first response video, when you keep saying when he knew he had done what they alleged. It's good to see that you're at least using the word alleged in here, because before I don't think you had that. Maybe you did. Maybe I missed it. Probably wouldn't. Well, the thing is, who knows? Like, unless you're really close to this case or you follow it or, you're involved in it somehow, which I still have my suspicions, Hammerhead. I do still have my suspicions. I think you're involved somewhere, somehow. Um, what makes you think that it would never have gone to trial? I mean, from what I understand, RS, along with a number of others, were being investigated by the Office of the Special Investigator prior to any defamation case in which RS brought against the media. So I don't know. Um, would they have not? It seems like you're implying that they would not have gone ahead with making an arrest or charging him with anything if he didn't bring a defamation case. I'm not sure what you're basing that on. Again, have you got inside knowledge? Are you a part of this trial, Hammerhead? He lost, and based on that judgment, is a murderer. Here we go. Is a murderer, a war criminal, bully, and woman beater. That is a fact in capitals you have. So again, you're sort of up and down with regards to your communication. Maybe that's just part of, maybe you're in a court setting and maybe this is you cross-examination with regards to your comments in my videos. He lost. Yes, we know he lost the defamation case. And based on that judgment, is a murderer, war criminal, bully, and woman beater. That is a fact. Again, you haven't shared, unless it's in the article that you've sent to me, which I'll get to reading if you're still here. I haven't seen that anywhere. Even your AI or Google search, because you said I didn't Google it. Even the Google search came up with no, he has not been convicted. No, he is not guilty of war crimes. He has not been charged. And then it gives other context in terms of the defamation case. But anyway, you do the crime, you do the time, and he will do it. So that's from you. Even that last part doesn't make sense. You do the crime, you do the time. Agreed. And he will do it. So then you've got, and he will do it, which doesn't line up with the facts that you've said and the guilty that you say that he is. And he will do it. So sounds like he's not doing it. Could that be because he hasn't been found guilty of any of those things? He's been charged. Yes, been charged with 5 counts of war crime murder, from what I understand. And he's been arrested. He's been released on bail, and there's been no trial and no criminal conviction. So it seems like you do understand. So I'm relying on your words in terms of you saying you have a law degree and you have an understanding of law and legal process. You do the crime, you do the time, and he will do it, you assert, with regards to your comments. But earlier, you're calling him, you're saying it's fact that he's a murderer, criminal, bully, woman beater. You're saying it's fact that he's guilty. If these things are fact and true, why is he not in prison, bruz? Help me understand that with your keen legal mind and your keen legal academic degree. How is he not in prison if what you say is true? I think you'll find because those things that you have been putting down in your comments aren't true because there hasn't been any trial taken place to confirm those things and to render a guilty verdict. Now, I'm no lawyer, but if you're a lawyer, help me understand. Hammerhead, give us all, if there's anybody still here in the comments, help us understand where you're coming from and or the facts as you put them. The trial will be analysed forensically, well, by the prosecution. Well, no, it won't, because they haven't got access to any forensic evidence. I don't know if you saw the footage with the press release with the Office of the Special Investigator standing right next to the Australian Federal Police Commissioner. And he was standing there when he was asked questions. Can't remember the exact questions, but you can see it on YouTube. And he spoke about words to the effect of, it's not like a case here in Australia. We don't have access to the site. We don't have access to the body. We don't have access to to being able to do an autopsy, the ammunition, the weapons, etc., etc. Like a whole bunch of, I think they even went as far as to say blood splatter and all that sort of thing. There's no access to forensic evidence, as far as I know, based on what I heard the Office of the Special Investigator say in his stand-up press conference while he was standing right next to the female Australian Federal Police Commissioner. Again, I'm no lawyer though, but when you're saying that trial will be analysed forensically by the prosecution, are they analysing you'd like to think they are analysing it as closely as they can. And if that's what you mean by it in terms of detailed, but using the term forensically because it sounds bigger and flasher, then cool. Maybe that's what you mean. If they're analysing it from a literal forensic perspective, sounds like they've got sweet truck all in regards to that, just based on what I've heard the OSI say, and based on what I've read in some other articles, in terms of the OSI talking about not having access to that sort of stuff. Uh, Analysed forensically by the prosecution. If you mean analysed, are they analysing the witness testimonies, the witnesses against RS and the witnesses for RS? Because I don't know what else the prosecution is analysing, unless they've got, like you've said in some other comments, the video footage. Now, that would be miraculous if there is somehow video footage of RS executing unarmed detainees, also video footage of RS ordering junior soldiers to execute unarmed detainees. Like, that's surely a slam dunk case for a war crimes investigation for the prosecution. But if that footage exists, how is that not leaked into the internet at this stage? I don't know. Could it be because it doesn't exist? That's just my take anyway. That trial will be, oh yeah, we've done that. And more dudes will flip and some will take deals. That's how it works. But believe what you want, bro. So those are your comments to Jason. Oh, sorry, I've seen some comments coming through. Sorry, I've missed them. Late to the party. Hammerhead laughing. I'm not sending it to him. F him. I effing hate politics and politicians. Now read the article. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I'm not sending it to him. F him. I effing hate politics. Fair enough. Details don't matter in a YouTube chat, bro. Now read the article. Oh, how does a lawyer flip from that? Details don't matter. Don't worry. Be patient. Be patient. Hammerhead. Read the article. For truck's sake, read the article. Patience, little one. Patience. Don't rely on my words. Read the article, bro. I could go through yours and say this stuff. It was a civil trial. No criminal penalty, bro. Read the article. So that's a complete flip from all the comments that you've been saying, though, Hammerhead. Surely, I've read through your comments on one reaction video. I'm doing a live specially for you. And reading your comments that you've put now, you're saying that the details in a YouTube chat don't matter. And now you're saying, don't rely on my words. I'm not relying on your words. I'm responding to your words that you've taken the time to put into the comments of my videos. So if you don't want me to respond to them, here's a hot tip. Don't worry about putting your comments in. If you are standing by your words, which you've said he's guilty of, and that he's all these things, it seems like there's a little bit of backpedaling now. What have you got here? Bro, I could go through yours and say this stuff. It was a civil trial, no criminal penalty, bro. Read the article. So now there's no criminal penalty. And then you've got your cool glasses. Read the article. Don't worry, I'll get to the article. We'll get to it. Hey, Hammer, you just said he was convicted of being woman beater. You didn't read the judgment too well, did you? Bazenko described the woman as an unreliable witness and the testimony to be disregarded. She was also paid hush money of $700,000 from Channel 9 to stick with the story. Wow. Okay, so that's the person who got the 700K. Sounds like a nice, easy sort of day at the office, eh? I know it says it is contextually true for. I know it says it is contextually true for that, her word versus his on that one, but the rest is there, isn't it? You have obviously read it. What does it say about murder? What crimes, etc.? So hang on, Hammerhead, are you now saying that Comb Over Bazenko didn't find anything against RS for bashing a woman? and you knew that, but yet you're still touting on that he's a murderer, war criminal, bully, and woman beater? That is a fact in capitals? Could it be that you, as the qualified lawyer, are now just making up your own things and or keeping things in and or refusing to remove things or correct or clarify things when they become known to you that that part's actually not true? Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Hammerhead. This just seems great. I would love it if you were on a video. Hey, would you want to jump on a video chat with me, Hammerhead? Like do a video? We can do it live because I can do one for this Wednesday if you want to jump on. This just seems crazy. You seem a bit out the gate, bruz. Heard someone say it's very hard in regards to being allowed to go from NZSAs to SASR nowadays. Is this true? Wouldn't know. I haven't been needing to do it these days. If that's the case, I guess those that might look to want to do it will probably find out when they reach out and see if they can. Yeah, but I wouldn't know. Same witnesses will be called and give the same evidence. And this time there will be a criminal penalty. But, Hammerhead, this time, don't they have to be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt to a jury? I agree with your comment earlier. If it's just a single judge like Combe over Bazenko, it's probably not going to go well for RS. That's my take. But then again, maybe not if the apparent burden of evidence needs to be so much higher in that criminal trial, and it needs to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. Maybe it wouldn't matter. So who knows? Anyway, where are we up to? So yeah, why write woman beater when you know the judge did not side with the woman in question? Interesting. Yeah, so I can't remember all the words that I was ranting on about earlier with regards to that. But it seems interesting, Hammerhead. Like again, probably banging on about the same thing here. And I know you want me to read the article. Just be patient. Like I'll take as much time as I need to get to reading the article. What's the time? I only been on here for a little over an hour. So I've done these lives, bro, that have gone for like nearly 4 hours. So don't worry. We'll get to it. Just trying to make sense of some of the stuff that you've said, though, Hammerhead. A lot of it is disjointed. A lot of it is inaccurate. Now you're saying it doesn't matter what I say in the YouTube comments. Essentially, that's what it sounds like with some of the messages that you put in this chat. And yeah, it seems weird to me if that's coming from a lawyer. Like, I'm not trying to be funny here, but I wouldn't want you as my lawyer, bro. if your level of detail and attention to detail is a bit sporadic at best, then I don't know that I would be saying, "Oh, can I have Hammerhead as my legal representative?" Hang on, where are we? That's what happens when you take way too many hard drugs at uni. Your head makes facts, just can't organize the order it should come out in. Hammerhead, we're going to be here all fook night. He is a woman beater. Contextually true. Good enough for me. Maybe not you. You believe what he says, do you? He lost the trial, didn't he? Didn't he? Read the article. Patience, Hammerhead. Now you're just getting a bit grumpy, getting a little bit, dare I say, butthurt with being called out for your inaccuracies in your comments. Like I said, if you are a lawyer, there is no way in heck I want you representing me, cuz. read the article. What's it? Steve Jefferson. Man, I hate words. Where did I say there was a criminal trial? Show me. Where did I say there was a criminal trial? I never said that you said there was a criminal trial. I said that you said that he was guilty of war crimes. And that you keep saying that he's guilty of being a murderer and that he's guilty of war crimes. That's what I've said. FMD. What do you mean? F me, bro. Just read it. There can't be a criminal penalty. OMG, are you going to read it or not? You said it. I came on. You read it. Yeah, I did. And I said, after I've read through your comments, bruz. So I'm still reading through your comments. Hey, because you've wanted to put so many. don't worry, there's only, what is it? 1, 2, 3 more. I think 3 more, 4 more. 3 more. 3 more comments from you, Hammerhead. Be patient. Be patient. Don't worry. Jason, the fact is defamation. If it's not a fact. Yeah, I made it up. Read it. Stop talking SHIT and read it. I can't wait to hear it. I knew you were going to do this. No, I'm going to read it. You crack me up, bro. Read the article. Then we will see who is laughing. Okay. I jump on a live with you, mate. I can pretend I'm Hammerhead. No, I'd want the real Hammerhead. I'm not jumping on a live. I'm trucking here now. Read the read the trucking article. He's quite upset, isn't he? He's very upset. He's very very keen for me to read the article. Don't worry, we'll get there. Believe me, like if you decide to not be here by the time I read it, well, that's not my fault. Zzz, for hours, a lot of what you say is disjointed. It's just your opinion. Read the article. I love that it's good that you're still here. Like, I know that you're still here then. I wouldn't want you as a client. Because I'd be calling you out for being a retard. But Hurt, is this a legal document? Cuz no, I can't wait until you do. You are going to look like an idiot. No, you didn't. Hurry the truck up, then let's go. Oh, listen to little Hammerhead. Don't worry, we'll get to it. Now I've got to read your last 3 comments. Hemorrhoid Head is getting upset. We need to move things along a little bit because he feels that I'm going to be, what did he say? I'm going to be upset at what I read. Now, what did you say? Read the article, then we'll see who is laughing. Then we'll see who is laughing. He said, well, we won't see you laughing if that's what you're implying because you don't want to go on camera. So you'll probably only see me still laughing, bruz. It's Hemorrhoid Head. Get it right, bro. And Pasty Hasty meant that he was the one who called in the airstrike, but that the pilot hit the wrong coordinates. How do you know that? How do you know that the pilot hit the wrong coordinates? So you believe Pasty Hasty? That's your term for Pasty Hasty, not mine. Like, I've not called him that until tonight, until reading your comments. So you believe that the pilot hit the wrong coordinates. Where's your evidence of that, Bruce? Is that in this article? Man, there's going to be so much divulged in this article by the sounds of things. So again, I don't know what you're on about. And I don't know where you're getting your intel from. Hammerhead, do a reaction to this article. This is the second to last comment. Do a reaction to this article. It's real and not from ChatGPT. The Lebao case confirming Australian war crimes in Afghanistan by Douglas G. June 16th, 2023. Then you've got here your third and final comment. Well, it's not your third and final, but for here, what I've seen tonight. I'll watch it. So this is Hemorrhoid Head to me. I'll watch it. Just read it. Bro. Oh, just read it, bro. You don't have to do a reaction on it or even say you got it wrong. Even say you got it wrong. There's only probably one person on this whole chat and in this thread who's refusing to say that they got anything wrong. And it's not me. It's you, Hemorrhoid Head. He did what he did. That's on him and only him. The truth is the truth, no matter how ugly it is. And it's ugly, unfortunately. And then your last one was, please do a reaction to this article. It's called The Lebao Case Confirming Australian War Crimes in Afghanistan by Douglas. Or at least read it, and then you will understand what I mean. So maybe this will help me understand where you're coming from, Hammerhead. It will take you 5 minutes. Well, I don't know about that. You seen me read articles, man? It takes me a lot longer than 5 minutes. RS is lucky to have a mate like you, but it doesn't change the truth. It is what it is. Whew. We got through your comments. Let's have a look. The way you read, we're going to be here for a week. Will you still be here though, Hammerhead? I think you will. I think you're a strong supporter of the channel, bruz. That's why you keep coming back. That's okay. Like, I don't mind it. Stick around. Hurry up then. Now, I've got some comments here that I need to read in this thread first, and then I'll get to your article. There's not many. Steve Jefferson. At first, I thought Hammerhead has some balls for arguing his point. After reading his responses, I've changed my mind. Why would I want to go on camera and talk with you when you do this? SHIT. That's what Hadty says you were drunk, you idiot, last night. What? Libel, what a dum dum. Oh, poor little hemorrhoid head. Man, you must be having fits where you are. This is awesome. You're a legend, man. Cheers. Hayden Alexander. Is that to hemorrhoid head? Is he the legend you're talking about? It cracks me up. Libel, what a dum dum. Yeah, I clearly struck a nerve with saying, hey, dum dum is back. I'm just waiting for it. Hemorrhoid head is going to get impatient. Hurry up and read the article. I know that's what he's punching on the keyboard with a few little colorful words to add in there just for good measure. Is he? Is it coming? He's just dying for this article to come up. Should I share the screen? Let's share the screen. Well, he's probably just paused on hitting send for his comment. Where is, here we go, share. Dun, dun, dun. All that we have been waiting for, the article from Hemorrhoid Head 27, which is going to convince me and everybody else that Ben Robert Smith, according to Hemorrhoid Head 27, is a murderer, a war criminal, a woman beater, and a bully. So here we go. The Libel case confirming Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. So Douglas G, we'll call him Douglas G, June 14th, 2023. Subscribe. Yeah. Who's this from? Australian War Crimes Afghanistan case. Westpoint.edu. Okay. The verdict against Ben Robert Smith. Here we go. The guilty verdict, maybe. This is where I'm going to read it, possibly. Australia's trial of the century concluded earlier this month in Sydney in a moment that captured international headlines. International headlines. What's that got? Click on that link. BBC. Well, they're as blinking as good as the ABC, aren't they? In terms of what they're doing to their soldiers over there too. Top Australian soldier lose war crimes. Yep. Okay, we'll go back. Just seeing what the links are. A man commonly described as Australia's most decorated living soldier. Well, he is. A former Special Air Service regiment, Corporal Ben Robert Smith, had brought a libel case claiming he had been defamed by allegations he was a murderer, a war criminal, and a bully, made by several Australian newspapers. So maybe this is where, and this is why, I think Hemorrhoid Head is using these words, because this is where he's getting it from. Okay. That's what he brought the allegations against those media organizations, specifically claiming he had been defamed by allegations he was a murderer, a war criminal, and a bully, made by several Australian newspapers. Okay, that's where that comes from. It hasn't got in there the woman bashing piece, but maybe that's something else. These allegations arose out of his SASR service in Afghanistan, particularly incidents in 2009 and 2012, over a 4-year period where seemingly useless cowards couldn't bring themselves to report anything way back then or in the moment or within 12, 24, 48, 72 hours after the allegations took place. They waited for years after. Devastatingly, the trial judge, Justice Anthony Komova-Bazenko, found the key allegations against Mr. Robert Smith, including 4 allegations of murder, to be substantially true. Yeah, I think the balance of probabilities and his substantially true, that's what Komova-Bazenko came to the conclusion of. And that's what you're basing everything on, Hemorrhoid Head? So that to you means he's guilty of everything, even though there's still been no criminal trial, I think is how you worded it. But you still come into videos and chats and say he's guilty. Because one judge, Komova-Bazenko, has found, to be the allegations including 4 allegations of murder, to be substantially true and dismissed the case in its entirety. Yep, well, we know he dismissed the case. In addition, Komova-Bazenko concluded that Mr. Robert Smith had lied to the court, colluded with his witnesses, assaulted detained Afghan nationals, and bullied junior colleagues. Where's that report? Like, I assume there's some, dismiss the case in its entirety. What's that link? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, page not found. Did I do, what's that? Dismiss the case in its entirety? Page not found. At. Why have links in your article and they don't even work? Anyway, in addition, Justice Bazenko concluded that Mr. Robert Smith had lied to the court, colluded with witnesses, assaulted detained Afghan nationals, and bullied junior colleagues. Doesn't sound good, eh? Doesn't sound good. But again, like, be interesting to read the report and what has been factored into Komova's decision, like the witnesses for and against and that sort of thing. Based on, again, what would you call it? What's it called when you're watching, I guess, secondhand? When I watched what's his name? Scott Jones on Sam Bamford's podcast, talking about the number of witnesses for RS, the number of witnesses for the media. And what Scott Jones mentioned was that pretty much a number of the witnesses for RS, were disregarded. How I'd love to see why those witnesses for RS, why their testimonies are deemed not credible, if that's the right word. Anyway, let's carry on. Well, that link doesn't work. It is difficult to explain how this case came about in the sober language that the facts demand, in part because of the bizarre directions bizarre directions. Maybe this is another reason why Hemorrhoid Head wanted me to come here. The bizarre directions in which this fella goes. In part because of the bizarre directions this litigation and some of the evidence led. Yeah, well, I think there was some stuff bringing in mistresses and stuff. What that's got to do with a war crime trial, I don't know. But I think I guess the media brought those or called those witnesses and then ended up paying nearly $1 million or whatever to keep them quiet. Where are we? Bizarre direction litigation, some evidence led. The case has included accounts of petrol-doused laptops being set alight. The case has included accounts of petrol-doused laptops being set alight, USB drives buried in a backyard in a pink plastic children's lunchbox. I think I've heard something about that. Is that some of the stuff that, just clicking on the link, Ben Robert Smith, burnt laptops to protect person. Where's this? ABC News. Why wouldn't it be from ABC News? Yeah, well, we know what I think about ABC News. But I think Scott Jones gives an account and talks about the supposed USBs that were found. I don't know if it's these ones that it's talking about in this particular article that I'm reading. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a completely separate one that Scott Jones is talking about. The ones that eventually led to a female trying to blackmail the regiment for money in order to have those USBs back. If anything, if that chick had half a brain, you would have thought she would have just gone to the media. They probably would have forked out some money for it. I think that's where people will be going these days, especially if they're paying 700 grand to keep people quiet. People will be rubbing their hands together going, oh, I've got some stuff here. Maybe I'll go to the media and look to sell it that way. Anyway, souvenir glassware being made in the shape of a prosthetic leg looted from a dead body. A character witness admitting to attending a fancy dress party in Afghanistan with Ku Klux Klan robes because he didn't want to pay for a new costume. What the hell has this got to do with? This is all that bizarre directions this litigation is going. Because he didn't want to pay for a new costume. What's that all about? Before I click on that. No, ABC again. Ben Robert Smith witness won fancy dress competition wearing white supremacist outfit, court told. I know who the person is that wore that outfit. And he is the furthest thing from a racist anybody can get. But I guess it makes sense from the media's perspective of wanting to try to, is it called character assassination? Trying to discredit witnesses That's what lawyers do, isn't it? Like if you've got, we can jump off the ABC page, but if a defense or prosecution has got witnesses, I'd say it's the job of the legal team to try to discredit those witnesses, isn't it? So what was this? He won a fancy dress as the Ku Klux Klan member because he didn't want to pay for a new costume. And he is the furthest thing from a racist anybody could come across. Um, so is that you got to be careful? Don't attend any fancy dress parties. What's the point of calling them a fancy dress if you can't use a bit of license and go as something that you're not, or whatever? Isn't that the whole idea of it? Crack up. It's crazy, interesting. Like I wasn't there in the court hearing, but it's interesting to try to get an understanding of what these lawyers must have been trying to do to discredit witnesses. And I would imagine it happens on both sides. Where are we? Da, da, da. And the then Assistant Minister of Defence, was this Wangstein Wasty? Was he that? Giving evidence that during his time in the SASR, some had fallen into a pagan warrior ethos where killing was a sacrament itself. What the hell sort of rubbish is that? Killing was a sacrament itself. What's this all about? Ben Robert Smith defamation trial. I believe something unlawful had happened, Andrew Hastie says. Okay, so Wangstein Wasty is saying that he believes something unlawful had happened. Okay, what did you do about it, Wangstein? What did you do? And what's this? Support the Guardian. I don't know if I want to support the Guardian. Yeah, no, I'm not paying for no subscriptions on there, bros. Back. What did you do? You suspected something unlawful happened and you did nothing until you got into politics? Are you kidding me? Yeah, let's have a look. Where am I up to? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, bloody hell, did I just scroll past? No, I'm still down here. Sacrament itself. Pagan warrior ethos, where killing was a sacrament itself. It just sounds ridiculous. I mean, if Wangstein Wasty is the Boy Scout Christian person that he claims to be, or that he's portrayed to be, or that he portrays himself to be, I don't know. Why didn't he say anything while he's in the regiment? Why didn't he report it to his higher ups? Why didn't he stop it as a captain? Why didn't you stop your subordinates as the leader and stop your sergeants, your corporals, your troopers from going rogue? Is that what I said? From going rogue or being these pagan warriors, and killing was a sacrament in itself. Who comes up with these words? This is just nuts. This is the article that you wanted me to read, right, Hammerhead? Yeah, thanks for that input, bro. Oh, sorry. Where are we up to? Douglas. Bro, nothing will convince you. Convince me of what? That he's innocent until proven guilty? And that it hasn't been to trial? Is that what you mean? Like, if you're a lawyer, bro, you're telling us on here that you're a lawyer, bros, and you don't believe in due process? You just think he's guilty? Please explain. Please explain their hemorrhoid head. The floor is yours, bros. Go on, punch away on that keyboard and explain. You've got a degree in law, you understand law, you've said, and you have an understanding of the legal process. Well, doesn't sound like it, bro. Where'd you get your law degree from? A Wheatbix box or something, cuz? I don't know where I'm supposed to realize that you're the one now laughing and I'm not laughing, but I'm still just laughing as I go through this so far. Maybe there's more to it. Well, clearly there's more to it. So let's continue. Uh, Killing sacrament itself. What a crock of rubbish. And again, piss weak coward, whether he's a politician or not, hemorrhoid head, the fact that he did nothing as a captain, a troop commander. Captain, in charge of a troop, you're in charge of 3 patrols within that troop. You are the commander of it. And you're telling me he did truck all about it. He suspected that something unlawful had happened. And he did what? Nothing about it. And then we're supposed to believe him years down the line, after the fact, when he's in politics. I don't know. Make that make sense, bro. What's this? Bro, nothing will convince you. Billy, Douglas G has a vested interest in writing this article. It pushes his profile as a university professor in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Oh, I'm sure it does. I mean, I don't really care if he gets, I don't know, whatever he gets as a professor in social humanities or sciences. All a big conspiracy. Just read through it and stop reading a sentence at a time. Shut up, hemorrhoid head. You're here for me to read the article. So you'll sit there and chit your moot. Or you can keep commenting, and I'll take my time reading it and going through each part. You wanted me to read it, didn't you? This is what you're getting, you clown. You really are dumb. Stubby, just hurry up and read the whole article. I am reading the article, you bloody ball bag. Where are we up to? Originally set down for a very long 10 weeks, the case assumed a momentum of its own. The trial ran for an extraordinary 110 hearing days and heard from 41 witnesses, many of them SASR whistleblowers. 41 now. Holy heck. Went from 21 on the Sam Bamford podcast to 41 witnesses. Heck, I know I have not heard Scott Jones talk about 41 witnesses or Sam Bamford. I heard them repeatedly say 21 witnesses, 21 witnesses. So, did you really write this, Hammerhead? Is this you? Hammerhead, I just clicked. Are you, what's the name of the person that wrote this article? Are you Douglas? Are you Douglas G? Wanting me to get airtime for your article? You should have just said, bro. Should have just reached out. Could you please read my article where I've mixed up all the numbers again? It's like, oh, 3 squadron, 2 squadron. Yeah, it's just one number. 41, 21. Yeah, close enough. Let me know, bro. Are you Douglas? Just be honest now. 41 witnesses? I've not heard the 41 witnesses part. I've heard 21, but not 41. Many of them SASR whistleblowers. Well, that's not true either. When you listen to somebody that has been there in the trial, like Scott Jones, gives a much better account of what he saw and what he took part in, and the number of witnesses. It is estimated to have, and you've got somebody on here, Christian, who watched the entire trials, read several books and stuff about a whole bunch of stuff to do with this case or this trial. He's not saying that RS is guilty or not guilty. He's waiting for the result as well, like the rest of us normal people. But Hemorrhoid Head has already got his conclusion made. The apparent lawyer or the law degree qualified individual who has seen fit to call RS and say that he's guilty. and he, in the same sentence, says he has an understanding of legal process. Well, I'll be damned. It is estimated to have cost between 25 to 40 million in legal fees. It became the case the Australian legal, military, and wider community could not look away from. An extended account is available in the Guardian's newspaper podcast, Ben Robert Smith versus the Media. What's that about? Oh, yeah. Get that out of there. These are the, I think I've spoken about this on other videos. I've done, not reactions to all of these, I think to 2 videos. The Death at Darwin, I think, is one of them. And maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this Whiskey 108 one. So number 2, and I think that one, don't quote me on it though. But yeah, this is the one that I was talking about for those that have spoken, those that haven't seen it, where I did do some live reactions and then they got blocked. Oh, yeah, no, we're not signing in with that. We're not going to the Guardian. But yeah, they're on YouTube, so people can find those, see those, and watch them themselves. Let's go back. It's interesting. Ben Robert Smith versus the media. In the remainder of this post, I will attempt to explain the context, here we go, in which the case arose, what the court found, and what comes next. Well, doesn't, I would assume that there's a heck of a lot more than what this article has. But anyway, let's get to it. And what comes next. The legal context. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Some comments on here that are missing. When reading, one normally does read a sentence at a time. Is a, yeah, that's a good point, Billy. Yeah, thanks for that input, bro. You're welcome. Keep reading. If politicians, if them all. No, yeah, maybe you're not. I don't know. It's past bedtime. Yeah, bro, I'm on the West Coast. Take your time, the West Coast. Let that sink in. Oh, you are. You are one of the witnesses. Hey, I'll have to play the. I'll have to post the video that I did in response to your questions. No, sorry, to your comments. Like, you're on the West Coast, eh? Oh, are you one of those gutless, retarded, useless cowards that got booted? You say you're just a civvy and a lawyer. I don't know, man. I don't know. Who knows? Uh, Australian libel or defamation. Law is notoriously plaintiff friendly. We lack a public figure. We lack a public figure defence, and the Robert Smith case arose before a new public interest defence became available in the state of New South Wales. The respondent newspapers thus had to prove the truth of their allegations. Okay. The respondent newspapers thus had to prove the truth of their allegations. Not beyond reasonable doubt, though. So, again, if all this article is going to show, and I'll read it, hemorrhoid head, if all this article is going to show that they won the defamation case, whoop-de-doo. Like, and what? Like, if you're a lawyer and you understand law and legal process, you understand that he is not guilty of the things that you have said. And it hasn't gone to trial and he hasn't been found guilty. So, yeah, anyway, I assume as I read that that's maybe where you're going with this. Thus had to prove the truth of their allegations. While this was a civil proceeding conducted on the balance of probabilities, which again we've all heard, this does not mean the respondents had simply to prove their allegations were more likely true than not. Okay, this is due to the Brigham-Shaw principle, whatever that is. There's no link here for me to click on it, which requires that when assessing the truth of a serious allegation, a judge must reach a commensurately high standard of satisfaction. Okay. The truth of a serious allegation, a judge must reach a commensurately high standard of satisfaction. Cool. Notably, Como over Bazenko only made key findings of fact on issues where there were multiple eyewitness accounts supporting the conclusions reached. And I guess maybe this article is going to go into it, but is that supporting conclusions reached just for are they the defendants then? Yeah, the defendants, the media, and not factoring in the witness statements for those for RS because they won a fancy dress competition going dressed as a Ku Klux Klan member. And that's just one. I don't know what the situation is with however many other witnesses there were, and or whether or not all of them were considered unreliable or not credible witnesses. Who knows? Based on what we read earlier, we're saying the judge found RS to be a liar, colluding with witnesses, and whatever else it said in this article. It doesn't seem like Como over Bazenko had a very positive opinion, I guess, of the witnesses for RS. Where are we? Findings, fact, issue, multiple eyewitness accounts. Sorry. Of fact on issues where there were multiple eyewitness accounts supporting the conclusions reached. Full stop. The rigor of Justice Bazenko's fact finding is evident in his 617-page judgment, a length to rival the decisions of many international criminal tribunals. My interpretation of that is they're saying he got a massive amount of, let's click on the link, massive amount of, well, a lot of time and effort. Hey, what's going on here? Let's try that again. A lot of time and effort, I assume, gone into his judgment. Lots of consideration, I would like to assume and like to think, based on 617 pages. Let's click on it again. Etta, what's going on? I wanted to at least get it. I'm not going to read through the whole 617 pages tonight, but I would have liked to have at least got a look at it. Rubbish. Anyway, seems like he's put in some time and effort. That's how I interpret that piece. It bears emphasizing that, unbelievably, in retrospect, the case was brought by Mr. Robert Smith himself. People keep getting hung up on that or keep feeling like they need to remind that piece. Yes, Ben Robert Smith brought the defamation case against the media, and he lost. At the time he commenced proceedings, he knew he was a figure of interest to the Inspector General of the Australian Defence Force, the IGATF, inquiry into allegations of war crimes. Oh, there you go. So I think I touched on this earlier to Hemorrhoid Head and your comments about this never would have gone to trial if he didn't raise or bring up the defamation case. He's brought it on himself, essentially, is what it sounds like you're saying. But if I read this correctly, at the time he commenced proceedings, he knew he was a figure of interest in the IGATF inquiry into allegations of war crimes. So how do you know? That's why I asked that question without having seen this. What makes you think there would not have been a potential criminal trial brought against him in the first place? Like, if that's what they've already been doing and he's already on their list. Anyway, allegations of war crimes in Afghanistan, which resulted in the 2020 Brereton report. He described being interviewed for the IGATF inquiry as the most traumatic episode of his life. Well, from what I understand, not having been through it, sounds like he's not the only one. Scott Jones describes a pretty horrendous scene. Other guys, Tony on the Bravery and Betrayal documentary, describe pretty horrendous interviews. Wayne Weeks, who was the RSM at the time, describes hearing the yelling matches that were happening and the way in which operators who had been backwards and forwards to Afghanistan were being treated and interrogated, by the sounds of things, during these supposed interviews in the cause and pursuit of justice. So he described the interview. He described being interviewed for the IGATF inquiry as the most traumatic episode of his life. I don't know, I wasn't there, but sounds like there's a bunch of people that found that pretty horrendous, and Scott Jones paints a pretty graphic picture of it for those soldiers that have been through that process. Where are we? West Coast. Let that sink in, dummy. I couldn't care less if you're on the West Coast. I couldn't even care less if you're one of those twats, blinking the gutless cowards in the regiment, bruz. You're saying you're a civvy. Blinking, let that sink in. And what? Jason Campbell, so can't sleep, came back, I'm glued. Hammerhead, that's what it just said, isn't it? That's what just said. What are you on about? Make more sense with your sentences. That's why if you had the balls to sit in a video, you'd be able to articulate yourself more better. As a lawyer, Skojo has summed it up all in the Two Worlds podcast. Oh yeah, that's from Sporty Guy, 1989. Yeah, Scott Jones has done a great job in there. I mean, there's probably some stuff which I would admit, even though I wasn't there, I would admit maybe he hasn't got 100% accurate because he's probably going off his memory and a lot of stuff. But by and large, sounds like he's hit a lot of the key points, a lot of the main points anyway. So 21 witnesses versus 41 in this article by old, what's his name? Whatever this guy's name is. Someone G. Douglas G. Anyway, let's carry on. I'm not sure what you mean there, Hemorrhoid Head. That's what it just said, isn't it? Bro, I've read and said a lot here, so I don't know which part you're talking about. He described being interviewed. Oh, yeah, read that. Indeed, Mr. Robert Smith was found to have attempted to intimidate, says a witness, precisely because he knew he was under IGATF investigation. See para 2346. Let's have a look at that. Bro, this bloody article that you've sent through, Hemorrhoid Head, it'd be good if you sent me. Oh, did I click on this? Brereton report. Oh, here we go. One that actually works. Afghanistan Inquiry Report, Inquiry Reform Plan. Which one of those is the Brereton report? Maybe I need at least that link works. Let's go back. I missed that one. This one here doesn't work. The 617-page judgment doesn't work. What sort of Mickey Mouse blinking article writer is this? Putting links in, hyperlinks in that don't work. Anyway, can't see that para because I would have read that one out. The possibility or probability of his subsequently being criminally prosecuted for war crimes must have been in his contemplation. Yeah, I would assume RS would have been thinking, potentially either way. Like, he potentially could be getting charged with war crimes, whether he raises a defamation case or not. Um, the fact that he's lost the defamation case, he may have thought, "No, okay, this might be more cause for whoever the authorities are to bring a war crime case against him." Regardless, he was prepared to go into that battle and take it head on. He did. He took it head on and he lost. So now it's got to wait for the criminal trial and hearing to go ahead, because the AFP, or the powers that be, the authorities, are the ones that have executed the charges and made the arrest. And now he's out on bail. And whatever happens, whenever the trial happens, happens. So, yeah, like, he's innocent until proven guilty. He's out on bail. I don't know where you're coming from, Hemorrhoid Head, in terms of how and why you think he's guilty. It just doesn't make sense, especially if you're a lawyer. Come on, brats. Subsequently being criminally prosecuted for war crimes must have been in his contemplation. Nevertheless, he effectively challenged newspapers to call their sources, including SASR whistleblowers, as witnesses and prove him a war criminal on the balance of probabilities. That was one of the comments I think I read of yours, Hemorrhoid Head. You mentioned that the witnesses took the stand, gave testimony against him, words to that effect, and looked him in the eye as they did it. That's what I was like, bro, were you there? Are you one of the witnesses? Did you stand there? And now these witnesses have the courage to look him in the eye. It's yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm still my instinct still is letting me talking to me as if you have got something to do with this case. You are more invested than just some random civvy who's just popped up on my feed coincidentally and has, with so much passion, including tonight in the comment thread, in the chat thread, been pushing so much for this article to be read and to get your opinions across. I don't know what it is you think you're going to convince me of. If you think I should have probably, you should have just come out and said and asked me. I reckon if you read this article, it's going to change your mind and you're going to be convinced, just as I am, that Ben Robert Smith is guilty of all of these things. I'll be saying, no, it won't, bro, because he's hasn't gone to trial and he's afforded the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So until those two things happen and until he's actually found guilty, he's not guilty. So I don't know what I don't understand, but maybe we'll get to it as we go through more in this article that you've shared. Dun, dun, dun. Read that. Read that. As witnesses and prove him a war criminal on the balance of probabilities. Again, same repetitive balance of probabilities. Thus, the course of proceedings only tended to put further evidence of criminal conduct in the public domain. Yeah, well, it is what it is. You know, if there's airing of dirty laundry, so to speak, then so be it. Whatever's happening. For those that maybe follow it closely, I haven't been. Like I said, I get sent stuff to react to. So I go through and have a look and go, yeah, okay, I'll react to that, or articles, which is what's happened here. Oh, what's popped up here? Hang on, let's get to this. Bro, forget it. It's above your pay grade. Hopefully one day they will write it in crayons. But I still don't think you would understand it, would you? Oh, poor hammerhead. Hemorrhoid head, are you getting upset? Are you getting upset that your article isn't convincing me that RS is guilty? Oh, poor you. Sporty guy. It's Nick McKenzie. Yeah, Dick McKenzie, it must be. Special head. Hemorrhoid head, special head, I think we call him. What's that? I'm sure he's Nick McKenzie trying to get his job back through YouTube. I think Nick McKenzie's job's already safe, like in terms of how they're working. Oh, who's this? NACRE 5222. The keyword at the beginning of article is alleged. Everything after it are speculations, correct? What a great comment. Hammerhead, hemorrhoid head, special head. You got a response to that? Alleged. Everything after it are speculations, correct? She's asking, well, I'm going off the profile picture, so apologies if you're not a female, but that's what I'm looking at. And it's got correct. I'm going to say correct. Where are we? An interesting interaction. Which part was I up to? Oh, bloody hell. No, I read that. We'll say I'm up to that part there. What did it say at the very top? FBI case confirming Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. Oh. I was trying to find the part where this person come in. Trial of the century, commonly described, defamed by allegations. Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. Allegations. In an interesting interaction between the iGadif investigation and the defamation case, the lawyers for the newspapers subpoenaed the copy of the potentially affected persons. Potentially affected persons, okay. Notice served on Robert Smith informing him of potential findings against him. Okay. The respondents obtained the lawyers for the newspapers are the ones who subpoenaed. Okay. The respondents obtained a heavily redacted copy of the notice, giving them leads on witnesses they had not previously identified. Paywalled link. What's this? The Australian. All your news for a great price. Pfft, whatever. I'm not paying for that, man. The honour and integrity. Oh, maybe that's what they meant. Paywalled. The honour and integrity of these SASR witnesses must be acknowledged. What? 10 years after the fact must be acknowledged. The ones that can't live with themselves anymore, or the ones that have requested immunity for their part in the allegations of war crimes, murder, and or their part in the alleged participation of executing unarmed detainees. Is that are those the ones who are saying should be honoured? While summoned by the court to appear in practice, they could easily not have attended. Oh, that's interesting. Can you do that? Can you? Hammerhead. So if you're summoned to appear in court, can you just not attend? I realize you can just like not attend, but legally. So if you don't attend and you've been subpoenaed to attend, does anything happen? Are there any consequences? Do you get charged, fined, go to jail? What's the, I don't know. This part here, as I'm reading it, makes it sound like the witnesses who have been subpoenaed could have easily just go, yeah, no, I'm not coming. I don't feel like it. And nothing happens. Is that the case? They did so in service to the truth. Really? Did so in service to the truth, but only if you get immunity? Really? Hammerhead? Hemorrhoid head. You told me that I wouldn't, well, you made it sound like I wouldn't be laughing when I go through reading this article, but I've not read anything yet, and it doesn't seem like there's that much more to go with it in regards to why I should change my opinion or decision. Well, decision? Yeah, it's not my decision, but yeah, I guess my position for fear of sounding like Blinken Dumbanese. Uh, why would I change my position based on this article so far? But I'll give you that. I haven't finished reading it all yet, so let's see. Let's see what comments are in here. Sporty guy, he can only write in crayons. From now on, media should be shut out and chess cameras should not be worn. Here, the 617-page judgment by a federal court judge that was upheld by the full court of federal say, here you are, repeating the same things again by another 3 judges is speculations. Hilarious. Well, I never said it's speculations. Hammerhead, hemorrhoid head, special head. What are you getting so upset for? At no time did I say that these things and what you pointed out there got declined 3, essentially 4 times, that these are speculations. You're getting butthurt again because I'm not reading anything in your article that is magically changing my mind in regards to the facts that these are allegations against Ben Robert Smith. He has not had a trial and he has not been found guilty in a criminal court of law beyond reasonable doubt. And there's been no sentencing, but I assume sentencing would happen after anyway. He has been charged and arrested and released on bail. Those are the facts. Come on, man. You're not a lawyer. You are not a lawyer, hemorrhoid head. There's no way. You can't be. Christian was right. You can't be. You're the level of your lack of detail and attention to detail and stuff, and even in all the comments that you've shared is rubbish. The fact that you just repeat yourself for the same thing because you got a little bit butthurt with regards to what I was talking about, and reading through your article, which you asked me to read, which I'm doing, you it just it seems weird. You have got so much more invested in this case than you're letting on, bro. You're not just some civvy who's got a law qualification. Stop it. Stop it. Question. When you join the SAS unit, do you ever sign a disclosure? There's probably some documentation. I know there is when you're going through vetting and that sort of thing for your clearances, relevant clearances and that sort of stuff. And part of that would be not disclosing certain things. What they are, I couldn't tell you what they are right now. I couldn't remember them. You don't understand it because you are a dead set numpty. Da, 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 da. Repeat over and over. That's exactly what you're doing, bro. What I like though, hemorrhoid head, is that you're still here, bro. You're still fighting the good fight, and you're still in here with your comments, which is good. You need to, I understand you need to try to defend yourself because you're like these gutless cowards that don't want to put their face on camera and don't want to sit and have a conversation with me. Like, I'll let you talk, bro. We can sit, do the video. I'll let you talk. You can hide your face. How's that? And you can talk. Change your voice if you want to. It might make it easier for you so that you can get all your words across that you want to get across. Maybe that might help you, hide your identity, do it that way. I'm flexible, bro. You can do it like however that works for you so that you can get all the words out of your face that you want to say. Here we go. Yeah, bro, big conspiracy, bro. Keep reading slowly. Where were we? Oh, it's good that you're here, Hammerhead. I'm glad that you're still here. Keep sticking around. You really wanted me to read this article. The fact that you're still here too, it's great. You are great for the algorithm. So keep it up. But I noticed you dodged the questions, which is probably typical legal stuff, eh? In terms of coming on and having a chat. Coward. Put you in there with those cowards, eh? Retarded cowards. Or maybe I already got it right when I called you one of those useless, retarded cowards that got the boot from 2 Squadron. Maybe. You haven't answered the question about being summoned either. Like I've asked you some legitimate questions, but you just go da because your butt hurt about you saying the same thing and that your article isn't convincing me of anything that hasn't already been identified. Oh, here we go. Why would I want to on camera with you when you act like this and dance around the truth? So that you can help bring it back to the truth. So you, hammerhead, hemorrhoid head, special head, you can bring it back to the truth, to what the people need to hear from you, the qualified lawyer on the West Coast. Let that sink in. So you can bring it back to the truth. I'm not going to cut you off. If I did, it would look stupid on the video, on the live, on the interview. They'll be like, bro, you just cut Hammerhead off. He's trying to talk and you just cut him off. I would let you go. That's why those useless cowards that served LO says a lonely, highly invested, highly passionate civvy. Oh, listen to you. Anyway, it's clear you don't want to answer the other questions about the subpoena stuff and all that sort of thing. Probably because you don't know, unless you're quickly Googling it right now. Unless if I don't know, I'll say I don't know. Anyway, they did so in service to truth. To truth? The whole truth? Or just some of the truth? Or just the truth that means I can be free if these allegations are true, but he has to go to jail because I didn't have the guts to say anything at that time if these allegations are true. So that doesn't make sense. Come on, bros, with your article. In a further peculiarity of Australian defamation law, the plaintiff must plead the defamatory imputations, meanings conveyed by a publication. There is therefore an incentive for a plaintiff to frame the imputations in the worst possible light and thus create a high bar for respondents to clear. Okay, that makes sense. So RS bringing the claim of defamation, being defamed by the media organizations, gets to put forward how he's been negatively impacted by it all. That's my take on it. Uh, maybe Special Head can give the better answer, the legal answer. The imputations pled. What have we got here? Those cowards were in the unit longer than you and RS. Dum dum. Dum dum. Have you just called yourself out? Are you one of the wankstain retards that were in the unit? Eh? Are you? This has to be. I think you've just slipped up. You've gotten that upset over everything that I've been saying and calling you a retarded reject that you've just outed yourself. Those cowards were in the unit longer than you and RS, dum dum. I, I think you must have been there, eh? You must have been there and you've been in part of that explains it. That explains your passionate responses and the fact of why you're still here in this live. That explains a lot, man. Wow. And it explains why you don't want to go on camera. Okay. Can you answer why didn't you say anything back in 2009, 10, 11, 12? Why didn't you say anything, bro? Why didn't you bring something up? What was it? Was it because RS's dad was a judge? Or what about before he was a Victoria Cross recipient? Which number are you? What's your number? Which number are you in the witnesses? Is interesting. Are you sitting there now going, "Oh bloody hell! I just couldn't control myself. I had to get this bastard, and I had to say this." These cowards were in the unit longer than you, and I arrested them. You must have been. You must be one of those piss weak witnesses that was having the little heart to hearts at the Blue Oyster Red Tulip with Wankstain Wasty. Interesting. Interesting. What's this? Sporty guy. I'm sure I saw Hammerhead on a Don Shipley stolen valor. may very well be. May very well be. What's your buds class? Buds class, I don't know. Oh, crack up. Anyway, let me carry on with the article for Special Head. Hopefully he's still here. Dun, dun, dun. The imputations pled by Robert Smith thus included not only that he had committed murder and engaged in blooding rookies, but also that he broke the moral and legal rules of military engagement and is therefore a criminal, that he disregarded his country, Australia, and the Australian Army by his conduct as a member of the SASR in Afghanistan, and that he is so callous and inhumane that having murdered a man with a prosthetic leg, he took the prosthetic leg back to Australia and encouraged his soldiers to use it as a novelty beer drinking vessel. Excuse me. Justice Komova-Bazenko found all of these allegations in those terms to be substantially true. Okay, so maybe this is the part where you're smiling. Is it hemorrhoid head? Is this the part where you now get to smile and laugh and go, ha ha, back in your West Coast, sitting in your phone or on your laptop, watching this reaction with hanging off every word that I say and just wanting me to hurry up? Were you waiting for me? Let me highlight it. Were you waiting for me to get to this part where Justice Bazenko found all of these allegations in those terms to be substantially true? And now you feel vindicated? Is this what you were waiting for, bro? Should have just, why didn't you just copy and paste that part and say, hey, read this out? Uh, so what? He found, like, this is all to do with the defamation case, bros. It's all, like, dare I say, old news. You keep saying that the prosecution is going to bring up and call all the same witnesses. Okay, cool. Does that mean that they're going to get the exact same result with a jury of his peers? Does that mean that they are going to be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that RS is guilty of not one, but 5 counts of war crime murder? I don't know. Maybe with that special head legal degree of yours that you got out of a Weet-Bix box, maybe it's telling you because he lost the defamation case that he is automatically going to lose the criminal trial beyond reasonable doubt. Maybe that's what you're taught in law school. I don't know. You tell me. Unleash the crayons, bros, and spell it out for me without your dat, unless that's all you've got to say. So anyway, there it is. It's highlighted for you. I'm leaving it. I'll read it out for you a third time. Justice Combe over Bazenko found all of these allegations in those terms to be substantially true. This conclusion was so devastating to Mr. Robert Smith's reputation that even where the newspapers failed to prove the truth of certain allegations, such as an act of domestic violence, Justice Combe over Bazenko ruled these additional allegations did no further damage to Mr. Robert Smith's reputation. Well, I don't know. I mean, the reputation part of it, it's massively devastating to his reputation. Yep. I think I would have thought that was pretty self explanatory in terms of what the media has done to make sure that his reputation is tarnished. And the only way, oh, I'd probably go so far as to say it's forever tarnished, even if he is found not guilty. It's going to be forever tarnished, I think, anyway. And there will always be hemorrhoid heads and special heads out there that just, without a doubt, even if he's found not guilty. So lots of people like to ask me, how would you feel if he's found guilty? How about this? How about that? And I've read some of those in tonight's live earlier with the message that I received. I wonder if those same people ask themselves, how will they feel if he's found not guilty on all counts? And he is, and there's nothing. Like he has all his legal fees paid for by whoever needs to pay those. How would those people feel? Hemorrhoid head, how would you feel? Maybe you can answer. See, these are the sorts of, all well and good. People can ask me. I don't care. Like, oh, I've shared my comments, and some of those I don't actually know until if and when that thing actually happens. So, if he is actually found guilty, I guess I'll have a better understanding of how I feel in that moment and can give a genuine response to that. Then, right now, I can't really answer it because it's all thinking hearsay. Is that the right word? Probably not the right word. It's not real. Like it hasn't happened yet. His charge is real. His arrest is real. He hasn't had the court hearing yet. He's not convicted of anything. So who knows? But those same people that ask those questions, I'd love to know, especially those that believe, like hemorrhoid head here, special head, who believes that RS is guilty already, based on the defamation case, mind you. How would you? How? What do you think? Can you answer that for you? Understand if you can't, but do you have an answer for how you would feel, or would you still be no? He's guilty. I don't care what anybody says. Like I'd be interested to know. Here we go. If he is found not guilty, I would say I got it wrong, plain and simple. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Good to hear your answer. I don't know if it's as clear cut and or as simple as that. Like, would you honestly? Is that if you feel so passionate, like hear me out for a sec. I'll carry on reading this. If you feel as strongly as what you do about this case, could anybody who has those sorts of feelings just be able to walk away and go, I got it wrong? And then just disappear into the abyss and never say, I could understand people disappearing into the abyss and not wanting to say anything or be on YouTube anymore or whatever. That part may be. But is it really that? For me, I don't feel like it would be that simple. Like if he's found guilty, that is. So to the opposite to what you've just replied to, I'd love to be able to sit here and say that I could just say I got it wrong, plain and simple, and that's that. I don't know that I could without seeing and having a better understanding of what all the evidence is. Like my plan would have been to go click on that 617 page results or judgment and have a look at it in my own time. But as I click on it, bloody nothing shows up in there on the article that you've sent with the link. So I can't say that I'm going to go searching for it, but I don't know. Anyway, let's carry on with the article. Fair play to you at Hammerhead. That's from Billy. Yeah, I mean, I'd say fair play, but I don't know. Yes, I would. I just said it. Oh. FFS. Yes, I would. I just said it. I just said it, damn you. Believe me. Well, no, I can't believe you. Just like you can't believe me. So, we can agree to disagree on that one. I don't think you would. I do think that if he's found not guilty, that you'll just truck off and won't be seen or heard from again until such time as you come back with a different handle. Uh, so we know that's devastating for RS. Such as an act of domestic violence. Justice Bazenko ruled there's. Oh yeah, okay, we've already read that. Mr. Robert Smith's reputation. Yeah, it's been lots of damage. Dare I say, like I said, forever be tarnished with regards to what's going on, whether he's found guilty or not guilty. In Australian law, this is the defense of contextual truth. Impact. Oh, here we go. Sporty guy, but there is no evidence. So how can he be guilty? It's all hearsay. And he said this and he said that. I will send you the judgment. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hammerhead. Are you really going to send me the judgment? I will send you the judgment. Why? Why? What do you mean? You're the one telling me you're going to send me the judgment. I didn't say I was going to send you anything. Impact. The decision has had a consequential impact in Australia. It is a court ruling that confirms allegations of war crimes in Afghanistan. Here, splitting arguments that there have been no findings of guilt on a criminal standard ring hollow. While Mr. Robert Smith is entitled to the presumption of innocence in any subsequent criminal proceedings, questions of fact have been proven in a court of law to a standard that would certainly meet the judgment of history. This is where I think Hemorrhoid Head is coming from. This is where he's getting his facts from. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hemorrhoid Head. This is why you're so adamant that he's guilty and that these are the facts based on what I'm reading here. Tell me if I'm wrong. While Mr. Robert Smith is entitled to the presumption of innocence in any subsequent criminal proceedings, which we know there is a criminal proceeding which will be taking place, when that happens, who knows? As Buck Rooney said, probably 3 years' time or whatever. Questions of fact have been proven in a court of law to a standard. So questions of fact in a court of law to a standard that would certainly meet the judgment of history. I don't know what they mean by the judgment of history. Does that mean on previous cases or like precedents that have been set on other cases or whatever? I don't know. But I think this is where you're coming from. So why you said in that last message, then I would probably have a better understanding of where you're coming from. Is that what I said? Or at least read it and then you will understand what I mean. Yeah, okay. Is that what you said? I thought you said something else. Just read it, bro. You don't have to do a reaction on it or even say you got it wrong. Well, I don't know if I've got anything wrong at this stage. If I have got something wrong, let me know. He did what he did, and that's on him and only him. No. Okay, must have just been that part. Or at least read it, and then you will understand what I mean. Okay. I think I understand what you mean now and where you're coming from with regards to this part in terms of what's the name? This article that you've sent through. The mood is sober and reflective among distinguished military commentators, such as retired Major General Mick Ryan. Mick Ryan, who's that? Oh, that must be the guy saluting RS. ABC News again. And one of relief in media circles. Yeah, no doubt. That at great expense, highly professional investigative. Oh, come on, man. At great expense, highly professional investigative journalism has been vindicated. Are you kidding me? The same people that doctored footage and other stuff. I get it. That's a different case. But if it's the same people involved in bringing these stories to light, should they not be applying? It's hard for, I think, anyone to look at that and go, oh, well, they doctored stuff over there. They reworded things here. They made it look like these people were war criminals, Heston Russell and the boys. Could they, would they, might they do that again over here in the case of RS? Might they go after the witnesses to try to make them seem non-credible because they went to a fancy dress? Like, just I don't know. That one's a bit suspect. That one at great expense. Highly professional investigative journalism has been vindicated. I don't know about that. I'm definitely biased on that one. I think that's a crock. The reverberations are nonetheless still being felt, and there is a great deal yet to play out. That part definitely must be for sure. Great deal yet to play out. I have no doubt of that. The impact on Australian culture more widely is also yet to be seen. While all nations hold their military in high esteem, a feature of our national story is the idea that a separate Australian identity was born. A feature of our story, a feature of our national story is the idea that a separate Australian identity was born, not at the moment of federation in 1901, but in the disastrous Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, Gallipoli Landing 1915. Anzac legend remains, no disrespect to it, but it's just like, what the heck's this got to do with the bloody defamation case? Or indeed what Hemorrhoid Head is wanting me to discover. Remains a distinct part of the national psyche. Indeed, Mr. Robert Smith features prominently in the exhibit devoted to Afghanistan at the Australian War Memorial. And there is now a genuine and fierce debate as to whether he should be stripped of his medals, including Australia's highest military honour, the Victoria Cross. Well, he's already had one of those retarded cowards from the unit, one of those witnesses, put in to have his Victoria Cross rescinded. What sort of coward does that? A useless truck and retarded coward, that's what. But anyway, people look into, was this a fierce debate as to whether he should be stripped of his medals, including Australia's highest military honour, the Victoria Cross. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what that's got to do with the war crime allegations and the Victoria Cross, again, being very separate things done at very different times. Just how that's even come into the conversation, I don't understand. Like, let me try to give that some context. Hammerhead, hemorrhoid head, special head, anybody else that's listening. Dick McKenzie didn't have any awards stripped from him for his professional journalism after he had done a report on Heston Russell being a war criminal, having doctored footage, added extra gunshots, etc., etc. So why should a Victoria Cross recipient, person who risked his life and saved many of his brothers on that battlefield that day, why should he have his Victoria Cross rescinded? Because some cowardly thinking retard from the regiment is jealous and upset because they didn't get a medal? Or is it because they were reminded about being a coward and staying in the rear, like Scott Jones said, volunteering themselves to look after the rear? You guys go and take it out. And RS got up and went. I don't know. Stripping of medals, accolades, awards. I don't know what that's got to do with any of that stuff, and how that doesn't work then if the media do stupid stuff or lie. And that's all on the basis of unproven allegations. In this defamation case, and in terms of facts for what Hammerhead is talking about, in this special article that you've got, we'll call it Hemorrhoid Head Special Article of Facts, which it is in regards to the defamation case, but it's got no bearing, I would assume, if it's to be a fair trial, I would assume that this has got no bearing on what is to take place in a criminal trial, whereby the burden of proof needs to be beyond reasonable doubt by a jury of his peers, I would imagine. So, taking nothing away from your special article, which has got facts and evidence in here, I presume, based on what Douglas G has put in there. But yeah, what bearing does it have on the criminal trial which hasn't taken place yet? So, how does anybody just label RS guilty of all of these things? Doesn't make sense to me, especially coming from a lawyer. If you are a lawyer. What's this one? Hammerhead, have you seen Scary? What's this? Hang on, Hammerhead. Why? I don't care. The facts are the facts. I'm here, aren't I? Yeah. And good that you're here because I told you to be here if you wanted me to read your article. So well done. Good boy. You listened and you're still here. Sporty guy, have you seen Scary Movie? Hammerhead is Officer Doofy. I haven't seen it, but I'll take your word for it that Officer Doofy sounds like the name is probably some retard. My so this is too hard case for a Monday night. It's a good start to the week, eh? I reckon. Good start to the week. I'm sure there's going to be more to come from Hammerhead. Bro, fogey about it. You just read it, but you don't understand it, obviously. Come on, bro. We explain it. If he is found not guilty, I will come on your show and say I got it wrong. Will you come on camera? Will you come on camera, bro? I didn't want to make you look like an idiot. I just want you to understand the facts. They are what they are. They are what they are. He did what he did. I don't think he should lose the VC, but he sure held to account. But he sure held to account for what he did, plain and simple. It's one article of many. He is a war criminal and murderer. Anyone can say that now. That's what you don't understand. Anyone can say whatever they want. You're supposedly a lawyer. This is why I think you're lying, bro. This is why 100% I think you're lying. No, not even pretending. I think you are 100% lying. You can't be a lawyer. Surely not. It's just what you're saying just doesn't make any sense. Interesting though. I'd like to hear your point where you talk about I don't think he should lose the VC. Good point. But he sure do you mean should? But he sure held to account. He should be held to account for what he did. Let me ask you, Hammerhead, if the allegations which you believe are true, which you believe are facts, that he's a murderer, and so therefore you believe that he's guilty of 5 counts of war crime murder, correct me if I'm wrong. What about the 3 that have got immunity, or there's 4 that have got immunity from what I understand, but 3 that, based on the allegations, say that they committed the crime? Where does your legal mind sit on that? Where does your, what is it, paying the price, the consequences, taking ownership, accountability? Where do you sit with those 3? Like, if these allegations are true, I've always said it, like, if these allegations are true, then everybody involved should be held to account. And if it's a life sentence for taking the life of an unarmed detainee, then that should apply to whoever was involved. Where do you sit on that? How does the guy who killed 3 Aussies get to walk free, yet BRS is a hero, yet he's up for allegations? Oh, that's from Sporty Guy. Sorry. Did you answer my question that I had there in terms of shouldn't lose the VC, should be held to account? Where do you sit on terms of accountability for that? That's if these allegations are true, remember? But what I'm saying is you believe that they are, plain and simple, is in terms of summarizing your words. So where do you sit with those 3 if these allegations are true? Eh, Does that make sense? Uh, in terms of my question, it's one article of many. Hey, Hammerhead, did any of your family members serve? How do you know they didn't do anything? Hammerhead, what? It's the truth, mate. It's all there. You just heard it. The truth for the defamation case is all there. I acknowledge that, hemorrhoid head. You really are dumb, eh? Come on, dumb dumb. I acknowledge that your article for the defamation case is true. That's if this article that's been done is correct and accurate, which I'm assuming it is. So there you go. Your article is true. But he has not been found guilty. Well, what planet are you living on, bruz? He hasn't had the trial. There's been no verdict. What planet do you come from whereby, on the basis of this article, that he's guilty? And if you're a lawyer and if he is guilty, why is he not in jail serving these life sentences consecutively? Emperor of Alba, what's this? China has been out here making stuff up about Aussies for nearly a decade now. I can believe that he was doing shoeies out of a combatant's bootleg. Boys will be boys. The other stuff is a bit much. It's man, if they're true, they're just They're horrendous, like I've said from the start. I mean, how how nobody says anything back in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, out of that group of people, how not one person says anything back then, raises the alarm, starts looking into things and suspending people, pausing people from deploying on operations. How that doesn't happen back then is just mind blowing to me. Yeah, like how that happens in a place like that. Who's sitting around standing by doing nothing about it? Like, yeah, that just does not make sense. Hammerhead, the media can say it. He sued, he lost. What's so trucking hard to understand? Nothing about that. What are you on about? He sued and he lost. And only has to be found guilty of one. That's enough for me. Yeah, I know. I've said that multiple times, you bloody retard. One, let alone 5 counts beyond reasonable doubt. He has to be found guilty of one, not all 5 of them, to serve a life sentence. You haven't answered the question about the other 3 that you sound like you're supporting because they are junior soldiers. What about the other non junior soldiers who are in that team? Like everybody that's involved. You're a lawyer talking about justice? Bro, come on, give me a break, cuz you're guilty, Hammerhead, of being a keyboard lawyer. Yeah, I think so. In criminal trials, it happens all the time. One person goes down, other people go free. I don't agree with it, but that how it happens in law. Yeah, that's probably a fair point too. I mean, I don't know much about law, but I watch movies. And I've seen, mind you, I haven't watched movies for quite a while. Apart from was it Civil Vigilante? Is that it? Something like that. The Vigilante one anyway. That was good. Uh, Criminal trials, it happens all the time. Yeah, that's probably a fair point. People seeking, I think to your point, hemorrhoid head, plea deals, plea bargains, or whatever they're called, so that they get immunity from going down. And you have got here, and I acknowledge you have got here. I don't agree with it, but that how it happens in law. Well, that seems like a bit of a throwaway line. That's just what it is. That's just how it happens. So how is that not then a specifically very targeted uh, attack and or approach towards one individual? In this case, Ben Robert Smith. Yes, I've read above. Okay, yes, you've read above. I'm not sure who that was for, whether that's for me or what. I don't know if I asked you if you'd read something above. Maybe I did. Talking about so many things right now, can't remember. Anyway, where was I up to? What did the case decide? Again, it bears stating that the case found a number of allegations to be substantially true on the balance of probabilities and taking into account the gravity of accusations. While not a criminal finding beyond reasonable doubt, so there you go. There you go, Hammerhead. No criminal finding beyond reasonable doubt. As noted, the standard applied here was a higher than a bare threshold of more likely than not. So that's interesting. That's good. I didn't know that about this defamation case. So it seems like that there was still a higher standard applied to this defamation case, more than I presume what is typically held for a defamation case, but it's still not to beyond reasonable doubt. And it's still not a criminal finding. So how can he be guilty? Unless mainstream media has managed to skew the opinion of individuals like yourself, Hemorrhoid Head. That's just my take. And each major finding relies on the evidence of multiple witnesses. Multiple witnesses, which I haven't read in here, doesn't sound like, maybe it's in the judge's notes that you reckon you're going to send. Uh, Based on what was it Scott Jones talking about? And again, it's secondhand. I don't know whether you call that secondhand or 100th hand information. Talking about his time there, where he said words to the effect of witnesses for RS were basically dismissed, deemed not credible witnesses. That's one man coming to that decision. he may be very experienced. Maybe that's why he has to do the comb over with his hair, maybe. But I just somehow think that a jury, that there will be, was it 12? 12 just very different opinions, mindsets. And I reckon there'll be 12 very biased individuals on that jury, whether they're biased for RS or whether they're biased against. Not all of them the same, unless the jury witnesses that they've gone to some remote village. They've gone to some remote village somewhere where there's no TV, no technology, and they've been able to guarantee that there's no way these people from this particular area have heard and or seen anything to do with this particular case. Excuse me. I don't see how they gather a jury of people who have not been influenced in some way, shape, or form through the media, whether it's mainstream media, whether it's social media, whether it's interest media, whatever the terms are these days. Some form of media has reached the eyeballs and ears, hearts and minds of individuals who are, maybe like Hemorrhoid Head here, very passionate and invested in this case. So, yeah, call me crazy, but that's just my take in terms of where are they going to find these people from that haven't been tainted or corrupted or tarnished with regards to these allegations of war crimes against RS. Anyway, the key episodes in contention were the killing of a captured man with a prosthetic leg in 2009 at a compound referenced as Whiskey 108, a blooding the rookie incident the same year in which Mr. Robert Smith allegedly ordered a junior soldier to execute an elderly civilian who posed no threat at Whiskey 108, the killing of Mr. Ali. So during all of these, where are the other operators? Like I said at the start, well, maybe not at the start of this article, but at the start of this live, the boys aren't going out there in two-man teams, all on their own, taking down compounds. They're not doing that with a two-man team. Victoria Cross winner or not, he may have done part of that and feats like that for a segment of a blinking hectic battle at the Battle of Tizak. Massive, nothing but respect for RS and those other warriors that fought that day in that battle. But they're not going around to all the compounds post that, just two-man teams or three-man teams, and looking to kick in doors and take down compounds. So where are these other people? There, that would make there would be more sense to it if Scott Jones came on and said on the Two Worlds Collide podcast and said, yeah, mate, there were 21 witnesses and 18 of those were against RS. 18 of them. Like that would make sense. Even even double-digit numbers would make sense in terms of the number of people and eyeballs that would have been on the ground that you presume would have seen, heard, and been a part of, like, and things like that. I've not heard that anywhere. I've not heard Scott Jones talk about it, and he's probably one guy that's given, as far as I've seen, the best account in terms of what's happened to soldiers and the investigation process and those particular incidents, the Ali Jan and Darwan and Whiskey 108. So yeah. Anyway, where are the other lads? Darwan 2012, and a claim that he ordered an Afghan soldier, so an Afghan soldier as well, to execute a prisoner. I think I have reacted to that somewhere at a compound in Chinatu in 2012. You would think it would be easy to find that Afghan soldier. I think I have seen and heard that before because I know I've shared those words. So in addition to that, have they got the Afghan soldier as well to come and be a witness against RS to say, yep, the big one told me to execute this guy? You'd think that would be pretty easy to do, I would have thought. Comb over, Bazenko found that Robert Smith committed or was complicit in these 4 murders. Okay, so that's what one individual, Comb over Bazenko, has found. That's his decision. Cool, that's his decision. There's no criminal proceeding, and he's not guilty under any sort of criminal law, as far as I understand. Defamation case, though, he absolutely lost that one. Just like, yeah, nah, no thanks. We're not entertaining it. We're not going through it again. Blah, blah, blah. He may have lost it on the appeals if he had have got to an appeal, but he didn't. So anyway, it is what it is. All of these killings were of persons under control, allegedly, and were in no way in the heat of battle. Such murders of persons, hors de combat, would plainly constitute a war crime. Sounds like it would to me in terms of executing unarmed detainees. The Whiskey 108 compound allegations concerned a 2009 raid in whether two men were found in a tunnel and executed afterwards while under Australian control, or instead had been lawfully killed as squirters, enemy combatants fleeing the scene. During the engagement. Here, the court found in respect of Mr. Mr. Robert Smith and person four, the rookie. I think person four also the guy that felt that's on some medication which wasn't allowed to be disclosed, that also felt he should have received the Victoria Cross from the Battle of Tizak for following RS. Don't get me wrong, massively brave of that guy, if that's what he did. I don't know that he was one of the guys that got the boot from 2 Squadron. Doesn't sound like he was. Massively brave of that individual. His testimony, from what I heard in The Guardian, didn't really make sense. He wanted one when basically the lawyer for RS asked him, you felt that you deserved the Victoria Cross too, didn't you? And I think his words were essentially, yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, I did. And he went on to say something along the lines of not for him, but for his children, so that his children know what he did. I don't know, I mean, everybody's different, but that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, the lad's he got a Medal of Gallantry, which is awesome. The lads, the families become pretty close. Wives usually hang out, kids play together and stuff too, and or know each other. Some of them grow up together in and around that space. Relationships and stuff are formed. People talk, and people, stories about somebody's dad or this, that, and the other would spread around. No different to people like Matty Locke, rest in peace. No different to Blaine Dids, rest in peace to those two men, and many others, in terms of the heroism that they showed, the professionalism, etc., etc. So not saying that he needed to die for that to happen, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird, a weird comment. So my kids know, or he said words to the effect of, "It's for my kids," so that they know what happens. Like, if you want them to know, just tell them, and then I don't know, get get your mates to tell them if you need to. I mean, it's just blinking. Just seems weird. Person for the rookie at the time. That two Afghan males who were later designated Ekia 5657 came out, so enemy KIA, came out of the tunnel in the courtyard, Whiskey 108, and were placed under confinement by Australian soldiers. 56 was executed by person 4 in the tunnel courtyard at the direction of the applicant, so RS, and 57 was executed by the applicant, RS is what they're saying, outside the northwestern corner of Whiskey 108. Is this the same one that I did the reaction to, where I think person 24 is talking about RS made it seem like it was a spectacle, like he just executed the fellow with a machine gun in front of everybody? So again, call me crazy, but where are the rest of these soldiers? Because it's not just, if these allegations are true, it's not just RS with a rookie going around taking down all these compounds in all these various places. You know what I mean? So where are these people? Maybe that's what Hemorrhoid Head is talking about. Maybe they're all going to come out. Maybe there are 41 witnesses. And maybe Scott Jones got it wrong on the Sam Bamford podcast when he said 21. Maybe Sam Bamford got it wrong when he said all he's heard is this 21 witnesses, 21 witnesses. Maybe this article is the correct one. Maybe it was 3 Squadron that got disbanded. Who knows, man? But I don't know. This article isn't, I don't know what you're thinking, Hemorrhoid Head, in terms of this changing. Did you think it was going to change my opinion or whatever in terms of the court hearing hasn't happened yet? I don't know. Write it down in the comments. Let me know. And 3 other judges from the full court of the federal court. 3 other judges from the full court. Are you talking about when the appeals went through and they all said no? Yep. 3 other judges. They're probably going to back their mate, say. They're probably going to back their mate, Komova Bazenko, like no different to sports players backing their mates, soldiers backing their mates, paramedics backing their mates, police backing their mates. The list goes on and on. You got a lawyer, you got a judge. Judges are probably going to back each other. You reckon? You're a lawyer, you tell me. Well, I don't know if you're a lawyer. You said you're a lawyer. Well, actually, no. Did you say you're a lawyer? You said you've got a law degree and you understand law, if I remember rightly, somewhere in this comment thread in this chat, and that you have an understanding of legal process. I haven't. Maybe you did, but I don't recall you saying that you are a lawyer. Yeah. So the plot thickens with Hemorrhoid Head. Here, the findings are both that Mr. Robert Smith committed murder. So that's the findings for this, and that he ordered the rookie to commit murder. One of the murdered individuals had a prosthetic leg. The court found that it was not known on the evidence who took the prosthetic leg back to Australia, but that Mr. Robert Smith did encourage his soldiers to use it as a novelty beer drinking vessel. So this part here is probably also where you're coming from, Hemorrhoid Head. Here, the findings are both that Mr. Robert Smith committed murder. That's the findings of this defamation case, right? That you're talking about. That you are somehow shifting over and trying to say that I'm not understanding and trying to shift somehow and say that he is guilty of these things. He lost this defamation case. There's no disputing that. But he's not been found guilty of these things that you are stating based on the allegations that have come out. There was a slightly higher level of whatever that slightly higher means in terms of evidence or proof that the defendants had to prove, the media in this case. But it's still not to the standard that's going to be expected when it goes to the criminal trial. Why don't they back RS, bro? Who's they? Who are you talking about? I'm getting too old for this now. Not enough, well past my bedtime. So what do you got? Question, have any SASR patches for sale? Nope. Why didn't they back RS, bro? Who's they? Who are you talking about? And there were witnesses that did back and support RS in the defamation trial. You should know that. Come on. But Komovo Bazinko, from what Scott Jones has said, deemed them to be not credible witnesses for whatever reason. So, and if there's more, and if there's more witnesses against RS than there are for, why aren't they coming out in support of the prosecution? So your same question back at you, bros. Why didn't they back RS, or why aren't they backing the media? Why aren't there more backing the media if these things are true? Anyway, I think we read that one. Yeah, sorry. This was I highlighted this part for the benefit of Hemorrhoid Head, who's still here, but it should be because if you're on the West Coast, well, you got plenty of time. Here, the findings are both that Mr. Robert Smith committed murder and that he ordered the rookie to commit murder. All right. That's the findings for this defamation case. Hemorrhoid Head. Yep. Not a criminal trial, not a beyond reasonable doubt verdict. In relation to the killing of Mr. Ali Jan at Darwan 2012, the court found, based in part on the evidence of Afghan witnesses testifying remotely at Para, whatever that one is, which doesn't have a link, probably because it wouldn't work anyway. Shortly prior to the extraction from Darwan, Ali Jan, who was handcuffed at the time, was taken to a position adjacent to a small cliff to the dry creek bed below, or a steep slope to the dry creek bed below. He was held by the shoulder by person 11 and facing the applicant. The applicant took some steps back and then moved forward and kicked Ali Jan off the small cliff or steep slope into the dry creek bed below. Bloody hell, which is it? Small cliff or steep slope? From the video footage that I've done a reaction to, old mate is walking down the sandy embankment that they describe as the cliff. Ali Jan injured his face and teeth in the course of his fall from the small cliff or steep slope. At the participant's direction or order, persons 11 and 4 carried the injured and handcuffed Ali Jan from the position at which he had fallen to a cornfield on the opposite side of the dry creek bed. The applicant and person 11 conferred briefly. Person 11 shot Ali Jan, who at that point was standing and still handcuffed. The applicant was only 4 or 5 meters away at that point. I infer that the applicant and person 11 agreed that Ali Jan would be shot. Okay, so I'm guessing they're reading out statements, testimony from the witnesses, these findings of fact. This must be where, what's the name? Hemorrhoid Head gets all his terms from, fact and guilt and the capital letters where they come into play. These findings of fact plainly implicate other SASR personnel in crimes, at the very least person 4 again and person 11. Has everybody in this trial got immunity except for RS? Is that what's happening? Like, thinking it, the more you look into this stuff, or the more you read, it's like, what the hell's going on here? Everybody is innocent and wants immunity, but RS is the sole figure, this corporal who's not only running Special Operations Command in the whole of Afghanistan during the global war on terror for a 4-year period, at least from 2009 to 2012, before he's a Victoria Cross recipient. He's also the only one that feels bad about giving these sort of orders and executing unarmed detainees, while everybody else around him either A, doesn't see it, B, doesn't like it, and C, does absolutely truck all about it. I just, I don't know how anybody's proving beyond reasonable doubt in this, with regards to, like you said, Hemorrhoid Head. They only need to prove one. And for you, that's enough for you, let alone 5. I just, I don't know. I can't see it. Like, there's just so many holes in this thing. Yeah, like there's just more questions than answers. In that compound, in Chinatu, on 12th of October, the applicant, through an interpreter, person 13, ordered person 12, the commander of the Afghan partner force, so again, we're back to the Afghan soldier, to shoot an Afghan male who was under detention. Person 12 then gave instructions to an NDS Wakunish soldier, who then shot the Afghan male in circumstances amounting to murder. The applicant was complicit in and responsible for murder. NDS is the term for Afghan partner force soldiers, who were also known at the time as Wakunish or Wakas. Wakas. These Afghan troops were deployed alongside coalition forces for mentoring. While these allegations, well, you'd think if something horrendous like that happened, that mentored Afghan soldier is going to be the first one to be putting up his hand and go, here I am, like, I'm ready to testify. Just like they got 3 local villagers from a known Taliban hotspot to testify. So surely it'll be easy to get an Afghan soldier to testify against the RS. I mean, seems like everybody else has got immunity. Why not? Why not him as well, if need be? While these allegations had been reported for some time, and while there had been daily coverage of witness testimony in the trial, reading Justice Bazenko's clinically stated conclusions remains profoundly shocking. I'm sure it does. And I'm sure it sounds, sounds profoundly convincing. Clearly it does to a lot of people, including Hemorrhoid Special Head. What comes next? First, it is entirely possible Mr. Robert Smith may appeal. This must be talking in regards to the defamation case. When did this come out? Must have been ages ago, eh? An appeal would lie in the first instance to a full bench at the federal court, most obviously, blah, 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 blah. So we know he didn't get the appeal. Factual findings. Test was not applied in reaching factual findings at trial, given the serious nature of the allegations. However, Justice Bazenko took a very conservative approach in his fact finding, concluding no more than he needed to, and usually only when he had multiple eyewitnesses. Yeah, blah, blah. I mean, people can write whatever they want in regards to this. Second, it is widely perceived that this may bring a degree of public pressure for the Office of the Special Investigator to charge Mr. Robert Smith. Maybe that's where you were coming from, Special Head, that maybe this is why you thought there probably wasn't going to be a criminal trial, but it's only come about because RS raised the defamation case. I don't know. Maybe this part here. LSI is a special investigatory body that was set up, Wake and Brereton report, prosecute potential Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. It is, however, unlikely that this decision will influence OSI much one way or another. OSI investigations. Oh, so it says there, it is, however, unlikely that this decision will influence OSI much one way or another. So, yeah, to your comment that you've made before, Hemorrhoid Head, he wouldn't be going to trial if it wasn't for him raising a defamation case. Well, it's got here. If you're believing everything as gospel in this article, which it seems like you are, I'm not, but I'm just calling out a point here. It is, however, unlikely that this decision will influence the OSI much one way or another. So, I don't know. You can't sit there and say, well, you can, but it doesn't seem like you're accurate. And if you're being true to hanging off every word this article says, it doesn't seem like there was any guarantee that just because he lost the defamation case that there was going to be a criminal trial. Anyway, OSI investigations have been proceeding in parallel for some time, and a first person was charged in March 2023. While there is a perception in some quarters that OSI may have been slow moving this far, war crimes prosecutions are obviously complex, and the progress from establishment to a first person being charged is relatively prompt by international standards. Bloody hell. Really? Third, there are calls for greater leadership accountability as it relates to Australian prosecution of the war in Afghanistan proceeds on two lines. One examines the question of chain of command accountability. Who knew what, when? A question mark. Under Australian federal criminal law, I've explored the implications for Australian military leadership and the possibility of OSI prosecutions under the command and responsibility doctrine with that person and that person. Here, does that link work? Hey, there's another link that works. Okay, go back. The other possibility is a public inquiry along the lines of the UK's Chilcot report into the Iraq War, examining the responsibility of successive Australian governments for sending only special forces into Afghanistan and doing so with a heavy tempo of rotations and increasingly unclear mission objectives. Indeed, SASR became a kind of mega infantry unit. I think I've heard Walesley talk about that, the use of the unit. Don't get me wrong, the lads gladly will put up their hand to go and deploy over there and do the work that they've done. But yeah, it was quite different in terms of what else does it say? Foreign policy in a manner at odds with its original mission of surveillance, reconnaissance, and intelligence. Yeah, so maybe contrary to popular belief, the regiment's role isn't to go and to get into all these massive gunfights and all that sort of stuff. They're capable of responding, reacting, and getting into those if they need to, and putting together a larger force or even having a smaller force and getting in amongst it if they need to. But that's not the primary intent, let's say. The mechanism, and that's probably why the comments around potential burnout and all that sort of stuff for the operators, which probably may have played a massive part in just soldiers in general, not talking about any potential allegations of war crimes, but just the overall attrition, the stress, the pressure, etc., which likely played some part in the operators across the board. The mechanism for such a statutory inquiry in Australia would likely be a royal commission headed by a retired judge. Not blinking Paul Brereton, is it? Fourth, the case has a range of cultural, societal impacts display Robert Smith's nation impairment. Like, really, are you wanting me to read all of this stuff? Have considered by generally requiring multiple eyewitnesses to reach a finding. Okay, let's read this part. Australian War Memorial has been noted above. It is also not clear that this is the obvious win for press freedom in Australia. Many have considered by generally requiring multiple eyewitnesses to reach a finding of substantial truth. Justice Bazenko did not in any way widen this defence for newspapers. We will have to see how the relatively new public interest defence plays out. Okay. There is also the question of civil/military relations. As Mick Ryan has pointed out, no senior military leader provided written advice to government of the risk of protracted multiple deployments by a small pool of people. As I've said, Wells has spoken about that. And too many of our political leaders and indeed members of the public have often taken the view that what our armed services do abroad should be beyond questioning or investigation. We need a clearer sense of mutual responsibility and a better public understanding that war is not a theatre in which everything is allowed. And I think that's what I like about the military in general. NZ, Australia, at least my time, like those things, it's pretty clear that war isn't a free for all, and the conduct of operators, soldiers, regardless of what unit they're in, should be aligned with what's taught within those defence forces, within those countries, in line with our signatures to the Geneva Convention and all that sort of stuff. So, clearer sense of mutual responsibility and a better public understanding that war is not a theatre in which everything is allowed. Again, there's always going to be differences of opinion. There's going to be plenty of people. I've read some of the comments of other people that 100% believe that what happens in war stays in war. Can't tell me that you're going to change their minds. Never know. Somebody might come along, special head might come along and be able to convince them of their wicked ways and cause them to change their minds if that's how he views it, or if that's how other people view it. And there are people out there that would view things that way. But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be differences of opinion. Concluding thoughts. Okay, Nick, we're getting there. Oh, look at this. We haven't even gotten to 3.5 hours yet. Don't know if Hemorrhoid Head is still here. Why didn't they back Aris? They never backed Heston Russell either. That's a good point, sporty guy. And there's been Senate hearings whereby members of the Defence Force, senior members of the Defence Force, have been asked questions by members of the Senate. Why didn't Malcolm Roberts, I think, is one of those guys? Why didn't you provide any sort of support? And they're scampering around giving it was a civil case that he raised. And so therefore, basically an excuse for them to be hands-free of it. So interesting, eh? Hammerhead 2023. No, that's enough. The facts are the facts. Whether you love him or not, murderer and war criminal in a civil trial. If he wins criminal trial, I will come on here and say I was wrong. Yeah, I don't know if you will, bro. Well, I might as well finish this off. I'm nearly at the end now. Doesn't matter if you're here or not anymore. You've stayed for the majority of it, Hammerhead. So, Hemorrhoid Head, special head, thank you for sticking around, bro. You stuck around, like you said. I told you I'd read it. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna read it only if you show up, and then you show up and you stick around and then I not read it. Come on, bros. Where are we? Between the Brereton report and the Ben Roberts-Smith civil trial, Australia is at least beginning to engage in a difficult national conversation about the consequences of war crimes being committed by persons wearing our flag. Difficult national conversation about the consequences of war crimes. Well, about the allegations of the consequences of war crimes, shouldn't it be? Committed by persons wearing our flag. This is a conversation that will only become more pressing as the work of the OSI continues and criminal trials begin. As one former chief of the Australian Defence Force has said, though this has the potential to be a good day for our military and society, if a Defence Force wishes to be a force for good, it must have the courage to hold its own to account. And thus far, we have perhaps done a better job than some of our partner nations. Here, a group of SASR personnel had the courage to tell the truth, and a group of journalists and their publishers were brave enough to shine a light on it. Well, I don't know. Brave enough to tell the truth, some of the truth, brave enough to seek immunity so they don't get stung for anything, and shine a light on a corporal and a trooper. Corporal Ben Roberts-Smith and Trooper Oliver Schultz. I don't know. How bright and how wide is that light going to shine? When you're talking justice, accountability, all of that sort of stuff, justice for the victims, etc. Where and how does a conviction, and this is just a thought, how does a conviction of guilty for RS or Schultze, not that I know Schultze, how does that give peace, justice to those that have allegedly been affected? So the families of those who have had loved ones allegedly unlawfully executed. And how does it give peace of mind to the cowardly truck and retards who did nothing way back then and who still don't have any balls about them to face the consequences based on the allegations that they are bringing against RS? If 3 of those twats are people that allegedly committed the act of murder of an unarmed detainee. Clearly, they're not having any problem sleeping at night, eh? That's my take. They're probably sleeping better than Wankstein Wasty. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. If you're guilty of it, and if you're adamant about it, and if you go, hey, I was too weak to do anything about it back then, but here I am now. Yes, it's years later, but whatever the reasons are, I'm here to call this out, and I'm not looking for immunity. I'm prepared to face whatever consequences I need to face as a result of my part in these horrendous crimes, if they are things that have happened. Anyway, where was I up to? Defence wishes, force for good, blah, blah, blah. Oh, did I read that? Yeah, Sean Lotta. Addendum. On the day this was published, Australian newspapers reported the collapse of Australian Federal Police AFP investigations into Ben Roberts-Smith due to use of evidence from the Brereton report, subject to Derivative use immunity? What does that mean? Collapse. I'll click on this link. Australian Federal Police abandoned 2 alleged murder investigations into Ben Robert Smith. How old is this? What's it? Oh, 2023. Ben Doherty. That's ages ago. Well, it doesn't sound like it because there's, unless, so what does that mean? Was there 7 then? Was there 7 counts of war crime murder? Back then, well, he's been charged with 5. Anyway. These matters have been transferred to Joint OSI AFP Task Force for fresh investigation. Fresh investigation. And these developments will not affect unrelated OSI investigations. The Guardian newspaper notes evidence in Robert Smith's defamation case, including his own testimony under oath and that of other accused soldiers, is now on the public record and can be accessed by the OSI and the AFP without concerns it may be ruled inadmissible. Or maybe that's what Kyle Stefanovic is going to be chatting with RS about, maybe inadmissible stuff or whatever. Sorry. Concerns without it being ruled. Oh, yeah. Maybe he's going to be talking about stuff that can't be ruled inadmissible, I should say. Nonetheless, it should be noted potentially self-incriminating evidence was given at trial by several witnesses, and I've heard that. I've heard that in some of the reactions that I've done, whereby witnesses against RS allegedly said that they didn't want to answer certain questions for fear of incriminating themselves, something like that. I think that's what I've heard anyway. I don't know that I've heard it from the witnesses' mouths in any replay reaction transcripts, but I think I've heard that. Maybe it's the character voices that they've used on the reactions that I've done. Self-incriminating evidence was given at trial by several witnesses with the benefit of an Evidence Act certificate prohibiting its future use in separate proceedings against those witnesses. I guess that's talking about the immunity that these soldiers have weaseled their way into. Douglas, Professor of Law and International Security at the University of New South Wales, Canberra. Okay. Australian Research Council and Fellow. There you go, special head, hemorrhoid head, hammerhead. I read your article for you, Articles of War. As I said I would. And you showed up, as you said you would too. You said you'd show up in the comments. I'm a man of my word, bro, whether we agree or not. Higher ups should be held accountable too. 41 witnesses, bro. You just read it yourself. So who's lying then? Who's lying? Scott Jones or Sam Bamford? Scott Jones, who was at the trial. All the talk about 21 witnesses. There's lots of stuff we've read in here. So you take everything in this article as your gospel, your Bible, your point of reference, it seems. Yeah, crack up. 41 witnesses. I acknowledge that's what I read in here. Is that the facts, though? Is that what it says in your judgment notes that you're going to send me? That there were 41 witnesses? Okay, I look forward to reading that. If there is, I'll happily come on and say, yep, old Blank and Hemorrhoid Head was right. Says here in Komova Bazenko's notes, after listening and hearing evidence from 41 witnesses in this trial, that, yeah, then I'll come on and say, oh, yeah, the article is right. It said 41, it was 41. But I've only heard 21 so far. This is the first time I've heard 41. 2023. I'm assuming you're talking about that Ben Doherty article, 2023. A lot of stuff in 2023. Busy year. Who cares? What do you mean, who cares? This coming from a lawyer. Are you talking about who cares in terms of number of witnesses? Bro, that says a lot. If you're a lawyer, qualified, sorry, you didn't say you're practicing law, you said you've got a law degree. If you've got a law degree, clearly details is not important to you. 21, 41, who cares? This squadron, that squadron, who cares? Okay, guilty, not guilty. Nowhere on the interwebs does it say he's guilty of war crimes or of murder. You've got this balance of probabilities article that we've read through, and it hasn't told me anything new other from the defamation trial that we didn't already know. So anyway, you came along, like you said, you just read there were 41 witnesses. What are you on about? You've said that twice now, bro. Then you've got who cares? I've heard multiple times that there's only 21 as well. So one night that I read something new, 41 witnesses, all of a sudden, that's supposed to be taken as fact and gospel. When was this article written? 2023 as well? Come on, man. Got it out. You know, I'm glad you're still here. Have you got any other questions? I can play the response that I did. I'll put that up. I'll post that up because I already did the video. It'd be a shame to not put it up after already doing it. I think it's only about 20 minutes long, something like that. But I like to think I've given your article good airtime, even though, what did you say? Stop reading one sentence at a time. And then Billy corrected you and said, well, most people usually do read one sentence or whatever at a time, one word, one line, one sentence at a time. But yeah, so fair play to you. You came along to the live. I was hoping that you would. So I wasn't saying please come to the live and then secretly hoping that you wouldn't come. So I'm glad that you came, glad that you're here, glad that you've chucked in your comments. And yeah, and that you stand your ground. You stand your ground in terms of the position that you feel is right for you. And good on you. Do I think you're a retard? Yeah, I do. Do I think you're a clown? Yeah, I do. Do I think you're a dum-dum? Yeah, I do. But doesn't change the fact that you're here. You did what you said, or you did what I asked you to do, and I've done what I said I would do. Read your article out. Does it change my position or my thoughts or my opinions? No, because the trial hasn't happened. Like I said, I'm not the one that goes out looking for I'm not the one that goes out looking for the stuff. People like you, well, actually, you're probably in a category of your own. There's not many people like you. Other people usually send me stuff, links to the videos and stuff that I've reacted to. Um, Usually pretty neutral, like just, hey, have you seen this video? I don't know that he's guilty or that he's not guilty. I hope the vast majority of people probably like the one that I got today. The vast majority of people are like, I hope it's not true. I hope he's not guilty. But they're usually just wait to see what happens. You, on the other hand, you're like, nah, he's guilty. So good on you. Good on you. Yeah, yeah. Did you finish high school? Did you ride the orange bus? Fair enough. What's the orange bus, bro? You'll have to tell me about it. Come on, what's the orange bus? You sound like you know. You sound like you know. Was that a West Coast thing? Crack up. You would be good, man. You should jump on a video with me. I would do this remotely with you because if you're on the West Coast, well, I'm not going to be able to bloody get over there anytime soon. Nothing will change your opinion, bro. You are in love with the dude. Oh, and you're in love with Wankstein and the other Blue Oyster Bandits. Crack up. Well, anyway, done your article, bruz. Feel free to comment some more. Come back, add your comments. I'm sure you'll have some commentary that you'll want to add in when I post that video of the reaction that I did. Part 2 of my reaction to your comments. So yeah, it's good for the algorithm. Keep it going, keep it ticking over. I notice my numbers keep going up in the back end. I don't know if that's all because of you, but I guess every little bit helps. Hopefully, I don't know if you've got any other articles or videos and stuff, but bloody hell, man. Anyway, appreciate people's time. I don't know who else is on here. I don't even know if there is anybody else on here. It maybe it's just Hemorrhoid Head and Blinken Special Head making their own special appearances. What's it? Well, I don't know if that number's right. Says that there's 10 people. So anyway, if you stuck around this long, is that because you don't have work tomorrow? If you're here in NZ? But anyway, look after yourselves, and we'll see you on the next video. Maybe one day, cheers, Jace. Maybe one day we'll see and hear from this self-proclaimed lawyer from the Weet-Bix packet, Hemorrhoid Head, Special Head 27. Take care, peeps. Have a good night or a good day wherever you are. All right, 3 hours 14.